2. Good morning, everyone. Dumelang sanbonani. We will begin in 5 minutes if colleagues can settle. Thank you very much. Colleagues, good morning again. I think we have a sizable number that we can begin. My name is Thulani Ndlovu, a member of the provincial legislature responsible for infrastructure development and property management. On my left is Member Mahlabe, a member of this portfolio committee. After him, it's Member Rasilingwane, a member of the portfolio committee. And next to her is Member More, a member of the portfolio committee. There are others, I think we will explain when we arrive at apologies. We are not only 4. I think we are about 8, if not 9, if I'm not mistaken. 9, yes. So others will have tendered apologies. Maybe others will join later. We'll understand when we arrive at the apologies. We are not alone. We are with our support team. There's Mam Maureen Shabalala. There's Ntabiseng Siroba. There's Tewe Kumalo. Lebogang Ngume, there's Lebogang Ngume. There's Kinelwe. Also Oberekang Oyang Panspezulu. And there's Kaya Mdlalose there. There's Nkanyi so here. Am I missing anyone? Rayo Ukondli. Okay, yes. So with this team, we form what is called the Portfolio Committee on Infrastructure and Property Management in the legislature. And let me take this time to welcome the Department of Infrastructure Development and Property Management. But of importance, let me welcome the leaders from the different municipalities that are with us today in this meeting. And in the legislature, we have a certain way of how we run things. I'm sure you are all aware. When we work outside the office, we have to therefore declare the venue as a precinct of the legislature so that we are guided by the rules of the legislature as we engage with the program of the day. And in doing that, I, Thulani Ndlovu, the Honorable Chairperson of Infrastructure, Development and Property Management Portfolio Committee in the legislature, hereby declares the Proti Hotel Balalaika as the precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature for the 12th of September 2025. This in terms of Rule 56, subsection 1 and subsection 2 of the standing rules of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. Thus, the standing rule of the legislature will apply to govern all the engagements of the day. Thank you. And as we do that, we are then going to move and request Mr. Mdlalose to take us through apologies. Mr. Mdlalose.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. As Chair, we do have a few apologies this morning. The first apology from Honorable Member Mhlagaza Manamela, who's currently out of the country on official GPL business. The second one is from Honorable Member Mzi Kumalo, who's unable to attend due to party business. The third one is from Member Adams, as well as Member Deyache, who are also in Cape Town on official GPL business. The fourth one is from Honorable Member Masilela, who's currently also busy with party business. And then Chairperson from the municipalities, we do have MMC Mqina, Eunice Mqina, the MMC for Development and Planning at the City of Johannesburg, who's unable to attend the meeting due to attending the Urban 20 Mayoral Summit, which is scheduled for today. And then as well as the Deputy Mayor for the Rand West City Municipality, who's also unable to attend due to ill health. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Those are apologies. Deputy Speaker, who is member of this committee, is not in the country. Member Mzi Kumalo is also the chair of COCTA and a member of this committee. is not able to make it. Member Masilela is not able to make it. Lesego Makubela, the chief whip, is attending the political office bearers forum. It's something of chief whips in Cape Town. And the apologies that would have been raised from the municipalities. So members, can we note the apologies?
I move to adopt the apologies, well, to note apologies.
Thank you very much, Member Raslingwane. Colleagues, we are going to adopt our agenda. And our agenda is opening and welcome, which I did, apologies which we have done, confirmation of the program, presentation on projects, to which we are going to get the presentation from the Department of Infrastructure Development and Property Management, then get the presentation by the municipalities as outlined in the invitation, at which we are going to allocate at least 10 minutes so that at least we don't keep you for the whole day. As you can see in the program, we are targeting that at least at 2 we must have been done with the engagements and at least having a way forward that is solution driven. And having said that, let me note the presence of the following MMCs, Councillor Disebo Tavane, Councillor Alfredo Sandamela from Mfuleni, Councillor Tabiso Povungana from West Rand, and Councillor Chechele Khwete from Rand West. Your presence is noted, leaders, and as I said, you are officially welcomed and the engagement has begun. Members, there's the agenda. Then there will be discussions after presentations, and then there will be responses from the department or even municipalities where a question is asked from the municipality. Then we are going to have a way forward and closure. Members, can we adopt the agenda?
Thank you, Chairperson. I move for the adoption of the agenda as is.
Thank you, Member More. Seconder.
Thank you, Chair. I second.
Thank you very much, Member Mahlabe. So, colleagues, I'm going to now sit down. In the legislature, we normally run the affairs seated, but because I had to accord the respect when I opened the meeting, so I had to stand up. You can't address leaders being seated, but I'm just going to be facilitating now moving forward because we are indeed going to give the department to take us through. So moving forward, I will be facilitating the meeting seated. But of importance, let me now welcome MEC Mamabulo, who is the MEC of Infrastructure Development and Property Management. MEC Mamabulo always attends our engagements. We are raising this because, you know, with government, you would always miss MECs in the critical engagement. They will always not be available. Sometimes even the HOD would not be available. They will send a person. If you are discussing schools, they will send a director or a manager who is dealing with schools. But in reality, you find that the person cannot take decisions. Must still go back and consult, and then it delays the program. But with MEC Mamabulo and the HOD, we must say that as and when they are called to appear before us, they do so. And we do indeed appreciate that because it's the only way we can move when leaders are present in our engagement. And with that said, let me not waste time and give over to the department to table the presentation. The MEC will lead. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, on all honorable members who are here, and let me also extend a very warm greeting to all the MMCs and the councillors. I've seen the executive mayor of Merafong. Yes, I'm not sure if I'm missing any other executive mayor, but otherwise, good morning to the mayor. And let me take this opportunity also to acknowledge and greet the accounting officers of DID. The HOD is here. I don't know if he's still brand new, but I think he's gradually getting into a longer period with the department, Mr. Rufus Mutlana. The Dr. Jarion Butler is sitting there at the back. I don't know why he took a back seat. His seat is here. And with the powers I don't have, I think he could sit here in front so that he can answer as well. But let me acknowledge him. He's here, the HOD of COCTA. So we are here, both DID and COCTA. I think we could just be missing Jifa, but otherwise, we are all here. Chair, this is a very special meeting to us. I think we must commend you for your appreciation of the fact that municipalities and the province are better when they work together. And I think the principle of the three spheres of government, always integrating, coordinating, planning and working together, is the best. And I think the fact that you have seen it important to extend this to municipalities, we can only commend you and the entire leadership of the Portfolio Committee. It is the way things should be. We shouldn't be working past each other, pointing fingers, blaming. We are better when we take ownership and responsibility and accountability for the challenges that we have. Only in that way can we be responsive, accountable, but also engaging with communities. And I really think this is a very important moment to reflect. Many of our projects are sitting with municipalities. Approval levels take long. Almost all the certificates that we need and the approvals we need, and many of them are statutory certificates. There's no option, no two ways about it, are sitting with municipalities. The way municipalities conduct their business around their overall treatment of infrastructure applications, town planning and other decisions for the public sector could have far-reaching implications as well for the private sector. So we need to make Gauteng the most competitive space for both public and private capital formation investments. So I just want to conclude by saying that we have convened in the last 3 weeks, if not 2 weeks, a very successful town planning and municipal approval workshop with all our municipalities. It was well attended. It was one of the best meetings where we took decisions about how we are going to improve this space. We have commissioned a full report. Since last year we came in, we commissioned a report, and a study, and the report is out on how do municipalities treat infrastructure applications in their space. And maybe HOD, I think we must give the Portfolio Committee the report so that the Portfolio Committee can really have a deeper appreciation of how important is the municipal space. Site development plans, water use license, electricity, or fire services, final occupation certificates, various approvals that we need are with our municipalities. Without them, we can't move, Chair. So I think your gesture to engage them, to talk to them, to invite them to this meeting will remain very profound in many years to come. We have a lot of presentations, so let me cut my long speech. I think many people were worried that I was going to take an hour. But let me just say, the accounting officer will do a presentation, and I'll also ask him to be brief so that we can privilege discussions. And on that note, Chair, I see you want to finish at 2. I'm not sure if you're going to take lunch, come back, but can I just request that when you take lunch, you release me, depending at what time you take it. I've got a serious matter that I need to attend to with the city of Joburg. So yeah, but let me hand over to the accounting officer to lead us. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, MEC. Let me apologize. My people sold me out. They didn't tell me there was a mayor here. Machoro, you are acknowledged, and we apologize. And also to Cocta, you are welcome. To a very thrilled that you are here, because these linkages that we are trying to create will work better with you monitoring them. Thank you very much. Over to you, HOD.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members. Good morning, and also extend my greetings to Executive Mayor, the city managers who are here, MMCs, and the colleagues from municipalities, and also acknowledge my colleague, HOD Dr. Darian Buckley from COCTA. We appreciate the support which we are getting from COCTA, given the fact that it's our connection with municipalities. I told him last night when I reminded him of this meeting to say that we cannot talk to municipalities without you, because you are the vehicle which makes us connect with municipalities. And our operation as DID and property management in the province, whether we like it or not, we operate within the municipal space. And given the fact that we operate within municipal space, we need to be as close as possible to municipalities. Chairperson, we got a comprehensive presentation based on the request from the Portfolio Committee. And I don't know whether the sitting arrangement will be okay, or the members will be able to look at the presentation from there. Oh, you've got it here. Oh, BBT, yes. The secret is here. We'll be projecting here. With me, Chairperson, I've got all the branches from the department except 2, the acting CFO and the DDG for Education and STARS, who's off sick today. But I've got colleagues who will be leading these presentations in a particular sequence, in a more pointed manner. The first part, Chairperson, as you indicated, per your invite, is on incomplete projects within the department on matters relating to education and STARS, and later on, or as a second point, incomplete projects on matters relating to health portfolio. The incomplete projects, it's an Achilles heel for the department, and we are prioritizing them. They are part and parcel of structures which we have introduced in the department to ensure that all these incomplete projects are prioritized and are completed. And some of them, Chairperson, you are aware of them, but we've got a detailed presentation on that, which will be led by 2 senior managers. Dr. Refilwe Malete will deal with the first part, and acting DDG Bawinile Malupo will deal with the health portfolio. And we define the incomplete infrastructure, Chairperson and all members, basically on 3 aspects. Other aspects will be articulated in the presentation. One is a project or any project within our portfolio which has missed at least 2 deadlines of completion. The second one is a project which has got challenges relating to funding or financial allocations. And the third aspect is matters or projects which may be all well in terms of deadline, but in terms of finances and everything is in order, but there are issues which are hanging due to non-compliance with municipal requirements. And I'm happy that municipalities are here today so that we can thresh out these matters. And MEC is correct. The workshop which we had with the municipalities, and I'm told it was an inaugural one, it will go a long way in ensuring that we and municipalities work collaboratively and we can ensure that we comply with all their requirements to ensure that projects can be completed on time. The third part, Chairperson, which you requested us to report on, is on matters relating to infrastructure approval processes, which are legislated and are aligned to prescripts, and we cannot avoid, and we need to make sure that we unlock and move with speed on them. Will be led by our DDG, Property Management, Neo Morake. She'll also cover an Achilles heel with municipalities, which is debts we owe to municipalities, which we are committed to the top management team and to the MEC that this particular matter, given the fact that we are under pressure budget-wise, we need to take to the our engagement with midterm budget processes to ensure that Treasury can look at us with some sympathetic ear in terms of giving us more money so that we can honor debts to municipalities. We'll give you progress in that regard. And lastly, we'll come up with recommendations. If you allow, Chairperson, let me allow the Dr. Malite to come through, to come and lead the first presentation. I hope I saw her this morning. If she could take first part, and immediately thereafter, without any break, we take the second part, which is Memalope, and then also until we come to the end, Morake, until we conclude, Chairperson. But it's quite detailed. We're giving the nuances of these projects so that municipalities and honorable members will be aware of where we are in terms of these projects. Yeah, she can come over this side. Yeah.
No, she can come here.
Oh, in front.
She's the chair for presenters.
Maybe this side. Maybe she takes a seat, Chairperson. The commitment made by the MEC, I will also want to endorse it, about sharing with you this report which we have commissioned, study, which was well received at the workshop, and I think it's proper that we brief the portfolio committee so that the portfolio committee is abreast with the kind of work we are doing and how these studies and researches will inform our processes and our work going forward. I want to endorse that, Chairperson, so that we can be invited accordingly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, honorable members, MEC, Executive Mayor, and all officials. My name is Refilwe Malidi. I'm with DID Education Unit. So I will be taking you through projects in the education infrastructure unit within DID. How we packaged our presentation is we are just indicating projects that are incomplete as well as projects that have municipal challenges where we would like to get intervention. So here we have the details of the projects in education infrastructure delivery in the different municipalities. We've named them according to the municipalities. So we've got on our table the client, which is the Department of Education. Then we've got the municipality. We are also indicating the project and the property description where the project is situated. Milestone, which is where we are in terms of the planning processes with the project, and we're just indicating comments that will indicate progress with the project as well as the required intervention. So the first project is Barcelona Primary School. It's situated in Etwatwa Extension 32. We are currently in construction with that project. We are experiencing challenges where building plans have not been approved, although we've got permission to occupy and build. The land transfer is still yet to be concluded. In terms of progress, we are currently sitting at 6%, and we're just applying the contract with the non-performance issues that we are currently facing. The required intervention there is for the municipality to provide the council resolution and the draft deed of transfer for the transfer of land from City of Ekurhuleni to GPG. And we would also like to get our site development plans approved. So most of our projects where there's municipal issues, The main challenge there is the land transfer process from the municipality, and that impedes the process of us submitting design drawings to be approved. So if you don't have those necessary transfers, then our development plans will not be approved, which means by the time we finish building, we'll not get the occupation certificate. So the next project is Ikusasa Combined School, which is currently in Tembisa. We are still at an initiation stage where we're still planning. The project currently does not have a budget allocation for this financial year. However, we need the land transfer process to be concluded. So the intervention required there is for the municipality to provide the council resolution and the draft deed of transfer from Ekurhuleni to GPG. Then we have Dr. W.K. du Plessis, which is also an incomplete project. It's currently in construction. It's located in Gidalt in the East Rand. We are currently at 97% in terms of construction progress. The main challenge there is that there's a sewer line that is adjacent to the school, and it's always flooding, which will create a potential health and safety hazard. So the intervention required there is for the municipality to cover the cost and relocate the sewer line by ensuring that there's a budget that is allocated and that we don't experience challenges of the overflow to the school. The next project is Bramfisher's Primary School, which is an incomplete project. It is currently at closeout where we are done with construction and we're just busy with the final account process. The main challenge there is the issue of the illegal encroachments, which pose a safety to the school because there is encroachments just on the boundary line of the school. So we are saying that the interventions that is required is to resolve the ongoing illegal encroachment surrounding the cadastral boundary of the property. We have been in engagement with COJ. The legal processes are underway, but this is still not yet resolved. We do have permanent occupation certificate there. And then the next project would be Daleview Secondary School, which is in Annandale. It is in the city of Johannesburg. In terms of project status, it is in design development, and we're just awaiting property transfer from COJ to the province GPG to proceed to tender. Site development plan unit of COJ has not granted us approval up until the title deed is registered. We've escalated with the Johannesburg Planning Company and DID Property Management. So the intervention required on that one with the city of Johannesburg is the council resolution as well as the draft deed of transfer to transfer the properties to GPG. There is a list of gazetted schools that was sent to COJ. There's ongoing engagements. And once that is resolved, we would then be able to get our SDP approved and building plans. So we're not able to move to the next stage, which is procurement, up until all those things are resolved. Then we've got Johannesburg Hospital Elsen, which is in Parktown. It falls under the City of Johannesburg Municipality. The project is still in planning at design development, and here we're just awaiting Surveyor General approval and the legalization of the township establishment and registration documents from the COJ. So we are unable to proceed with any procurement plans up until the township has been proclaimed and we get the necessary land surveying approvals. Then the next project would be Adelaide Tembo Elsen. It's in Javabu. It's still under the City of Johannesburg. The project is currently at procurement documentation, where we are waiting for the land approvals to allow for the site development plan submissions. So here it's also one of those schools where we need a council resolution to transfer the property to GPG to enable the process of approving site development plans as well as building plans. Then the next one is Velemina Hoskins Primary School. The school is in Rivali. Still under the City of Johannesburg Municipality. It's at design development. Site development plans are not approved. It also falls under the category of schools that need to be transferred from the municipality to GPG to enable for the approval of site development plans as well as building plans. Then the next slide, it's not moving. Kaya or anyone, please assist. The slides are not moving anymore. I will just proceed while I'm being assisted. Still in the city of Johannesburg, we've got Tembu Primary School, which is in Pimville. The project is at design development. Please go back. Slide back. Okay. Thank you. Tembu Primary School, it's at design development, which is still in planning. We are awaiting the approval of site development plans and still awaiting feedback from the city of Johannesburg. It also falls under the category of the schools that needs to be transferred from the municipality to GPG, and that would enable the municipality to approve those site development plans that have been submitted as well as the building plans. Then we have Hoërskool Die Adelaar, which is in the city of Johannesburg, ERF 286. The project is at design development and land ownership is under the city of Johannesburg. Here we are also requiring that process to be fast-tracked of the transfers from municipality to GPG to enable approval of site development plans as well as building plans. Then the next one is Park View Senior Primary School, which is currently at design development. The school is at Park View. Currently, we do not have budget from the client department, so it's technically on hold, but it's one of those projects where the transfer process needs to take place from municipality to GPG so that the building plans and SDPs can be approved. When we get budget, we will need to proceed to the next stage with this project. Then there is the Dau Primary School. The project is in Orlando. We are currently at planning stage at the inception initiation, and the municipality is to issue the council resolution to transfer properties. So the bulk of this projects that are currently in construction and planning, the main issue there is the transfers, which does not allow the approvals of plans. Then we've got Waverley Girls High School, which is in Waverley, but still under the city of Johannesburg. Project is currently at procurement documentation stage, and the application is now under evaluation, and we have submitted the hard copies that were requested by the council. It does not have budget for this financial year, but it still needs to be transferred to GPG so that the building plans can be approved. Then we have Kwatedangendlala Secondary School. It's in Soweto, still under the city of Johannesburg. It is currently at procurement stage where the department is busy with procurement documentation. It also requires council resolution to transfer the property to GPG in line with the Gazette. The list have been submitted to the municipality in July. Then we have Rodeport Primary School, which is at city of Johannesburg in concept stage. The land issues there are not resolved, and we need to do town planning applications, so we need those approvals and the submission of notarial tiles application. They are currently on hold because they are awaiting finalization of the transfer. So it also falls under those schools which needs to be transferred to GPG. Then lastly, under City of Johannesburg, it's Beauvais Primary School, which is in Alexander. The project is currently at design development. Land ownership is under COJ and requires subdivision. The project cannot proceed up until the land transfer and township establishment processes have been concluded, and municipalities to issue the council resolution for transfer to GPG. Then in the Sidibeng municipality, we have Rasterval Primary School, which is in Vereeniging. The project is currently in procurement documentation. And the issue of deeds of donation is still not resolved. And Water, Roads and Stormwater Department cannot approve building plans because of that, and this impedes the project going forward. A council resolution is required on that project as well. Don't know if it's me, it's not moving. Okay, it has moved. So in the city of Tshwane, we've got a few projects that also requires council resolution. We have Mapenane Primary School in Garangua. The project is completed, it's at close out. However, there is no occupation certificate because land ownership is still with the city of Tshwane. Our property management in DID is still awaiting mandate from the client department to proceed with the property transfer. We have made the necessary submissions, but they will not be approved because of the land transfer issues. So it requires a council resolution as well. Then we have Rivoningo Primary School in Soshanguve. The project is currently at procurement documentation stage, which is to be submitted for approval to GDE. It also requires that transfer process to be concluded so that we can submit our design drawings to be approved. Then we have Itirileng Primary School, which is in Hammanskraal. The project is at procurement documentation stage. This one is affected by a cross-border transaction, and the project currently does not have budget, but there needs to be a transfer from national to GPG to enable the project to move forward. Then we have Marotola Primary School, which is completed. It's currently at close out. It also falls under the incomplete schools. It's also affected by a cross-border transaction where it has to be transferred from national to GPG to enable us to get the occupation certificate and the building plans can be approved. The last one would be Rifitlile Primary School, currently in Soshanguve. The project is currently at procurement documentation stage, and it's also affected by the cross-border issues where we need to transfer from national to GPG to enable that project to move forward. That would be all the projects under education. We've got Madam Zanele Mabatwana, who's a director under STARS. She will take us through the project in STARS. Thank you, Chair.
Good morning, honorable members, MEC, the mayor, HODs, and all government officials on board. Thank you so much. I'm just going to ask if somebody could assist me with controlling the slides. Based on how Dr. Malete has presented, I am just going to filter through the projects. Most of them aren't finished, but very few of them, about 9, require municipal intervention. So if I could just ask that I focus on those ones, because that's the entire list. So I've filtered them down on my computer. So I will just move onto them. If I could be given a moment. Okay, I just need to move on to the city of Tshwane. So I don't know which arrow do I use at the bottom. Okay. So with the city of Tshwane, I will just start with the PICC Conference Center. That is the second one on the slide. There we do not have land transfer issues as such. However, we've had rezoning process that took very long. So Tshwane takes a long time to respond, and when they do, they raise more queries. So this has delayed the project. So I think here what we would just need is a more expedited response period for the PICC project, as it is delaying this project that should have really started. We have submitted SDPs. However, we have not received the rezoning certificate, and that sort of delays us in proceeding. So if we could just be assisted with that. The next project also in Tshwane would be the Benoni Regional Offices. I don't know if I've skipped it. I can't see it. Okay. Okay, I don't see it there. I don't know what happened to it. Is it there? Okay. So here, this is not necessarily a municipal problem. The land is with the National Provincial Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. So we are waiting transfer there. That's taking a bit too long. So I think I will just skip this one and then move on to Kudusport. So again, the land has not been transferred to GPG, only one portion of it, and this delays the project. So again, this is a project in Tshwane. Then we have the road maintenance camp in Temba in Tshwane as well. The land belongs to the city of Tshwane. We need for it to be transferred to GPG. Again, we were still awaiting council resolution. Then there's also the road maintenance camp in Garankuwa, Tshwane as well. The land belongs to the city of Tshwane, and in order for us to proceed with the project, we would need for the land to be transferred to GPG. Okay, so it shows at the bottom there. So the next one would be the Women's Living Heritage Monument. With this project, it's not so much land issues or land transfer issues, but approvals. So there's two buildings on One Earth, which is the State Theatre and Women's Living Heritage Monument. Now, in assessing the new building, which is the Women's Living Heritage Monument, the city of Tshwane is saying, because it's sitting on the same earth with the State Theatre, we need to upgrade the fire compliance in the State Theatre as well. Now, this is a building that was completed in 1981 when regulations were very, very different, and it was not part of the scope for Women's Living Heritage Monument, so there is no finance for upgrading the State Theatre. So the request there would be for the fire compliance to be assessed on the basis of current standards for the new building and not apply the new building retrospectively to an already existing building. Then we move on to Ekurhuleni. I'm done with the city of Tshwane, so I just need to I am looking for the Tembisa Inpatient Rehab Center. Okay, there it is. Sorry, so in Ekurhuleni we have the Tembisa Inpatient Rehab Center. It is currently on hold due to land ownership issues. The land belongs to Ekurhuleni, and there was an application for the land to be transferred from the city of Ekurhuleni to GPG. However, we are still awaiting council resolution. So because the project doesn't meet PRM requirements, as the land is not ours, it cannot be financed until that is sorted. So the project has stalled. The next one would be Walter Sisulu, CYCC. Okay, I think I may have skipped it. In the city of Johannesburg, it is with GSD. So, I don't know. Sorry, I'm not finding it. It is with the Department of Social Development, so I'm just going through their projects to just see. Anybody can spot the Walter Sisulu COICC, please just tell me. Is it back? Okay, now we're on. No, DSD, sir. Yes. So now we are DCS, DSAR. Okay. I'm now in Tshwane, which this one is in Johannesburg, so it should come after Ekurhuleni. That's how we had started.
You can talk about it. You know the story. You can talk about
all
it.
right, apologies. So with Walter Sisulu, again, there's land acquisition issues. The land is with the city of Johannesburg. We need for it to be transferred to GPG. And this can only be concluded, again, once town planning issues have been cleared. So again, the city needs to assist us there. This has been going on for quite a while. Then we are in Sidibeng. I had already passed Sidibeng. A DSD project, Sharpeville Early Childcare Development Center. The land is vested with Mfuleni, so we need for it to be transferred to GPG as well. So we are awaiting council resolution, and only after that can we submit building plans to proceed with the project. Then we have Bantu Bonke. Okay, no, it's on the same slide, sorry. So Bantu Bonke is in Banfontein, Sidibeng, Medval. The project is almost complete. We are dealing with defects in terms of construction, so the structure is there. However, we are still awaiting rezoning approval. There was an issue with ownership where the land had to be transferred to GPG. So again, the application has been referred to the Municipal Planning Tribunal for conveyancing to enable the full transfer, because the community, the CPA had donated it, but the municipal process is yet to be concluded. Until it's concluded, we cannot get an occupation certificate, meaning in as much as the building is finished, and even once we've addressed the defects, we will not be able to start using it until municipality has given us occupation. And then we have the Ratanda shelter for the vulnerable. Again, this one is provincial, a provincial matter and national, so it is with the National Department of Public Works as well. That is all for the ones with municipal issues from STARS. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eche. If you could allow us to take the health part, Bawinile.
Good morning, Chair, to the honorable members of the Portfolio Committee, Honorable MEC, Honorable Mayor, and all protocol observed. My name is Bawanile. Thank you for assisting in flighting. Can I ask that we go to slide 29 where we're starting with Deep Kloof, FPS? If we can go forward, I think, on the slides, slide 29. Is it 33? Okay, it's this one. can continue talking to it, Chair, but I see that the presentation is not flighted, if that's okay?
Yeah, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so. Yes. Thank you so much. So Chair, on Deep Kloof FPS, the project is on the COJ. It's pertaining to the structural remedial works of the facility. It's sitting at stage 2 initiation. The team had, with the PSPs, finalized the concept and the initiation and the concept approval. We were due to submit this to the Department of Health for their approval in line with the IDMS stage gates. We did receive, Chair, a letter dated the 5th of September from GDOH. Must then be stopped. So in line with that, we're busy preparing a risk report together with the final account on this project so that we can submit it to our client. Then in terms of JFPL, it's sitting on COJ as well. It's the construction of the new forensic pathology lab. It's sitting at stage 5 works. Currently, the project is at 90% in terms of completion. It's earmarked for completion on the 27th of October. We are busy with the bulk electricity connection. This week was supposed to have been finalized. The team is finalizing that. The submission of STPs, which was outstanding, has been submitted by our PSPs. The traffic impact assessment has also been submitted. We have requested from the city an exemption on the environmental impact assessment, which was triggered by the bulk tank that we are installing there, responding to the effluent. So we are awaiting those responses, Chair. We had issues around the PSP invoices, but those have been resolved as of Wednesday this week. So we are on track on this one. The additional scope that moved us back from 98% to 90% was HVAC scope that was reassessed and indicated that it was not sufficient, but all those matters, including the fire reticulation, have been addressed. They are being addressed by the PSPs currently. And then we have Gauteng South, which is in Merafong. The project is at work, stage number 5. The contractor was appointed. However, we then had a challenge with our client who had not issued a PO because they wanted to do a scope omission on this project. So those engagements, Chair, are still happening. We have not finalized on that. And as part of the letter that I indicated earlier, it has not been withdrawn from us. So we are waiting for their guidance in terms of how they want to move forward. On the next slide, Chair, then we have the next project, which is Randfontein CHC. It's currently sitting at stage 5 works, Rand West Municipality. The project, Chair, is experiencing a lot of challenges in that the contractor that we're working with does not have enough financial muscle. So he has been working from payment to payment, and where we are finding ourselves right now is that he has not been able to pay the service providers and the SMMEs that he's working with. So this has resulted into site closure, which we are obviously trying to manage. We've issued him obviously with a number of letters just highlighting the non-compliances with regards to that. The property is zoned, so there are no issues with that. We also had an issue with a QS PSP that was appointed in that he started stopping attending our meetings and our sites, but our internal teams are working in terms of the evaluation for the QSs, so that has not been an issue, but we've issued him with a moral letter that indicates the non-compliance. The Tembisa bulk store is sitting at tender, stage 4.1. It is served at BSC. We are waiting for the outcome, and then we'll be able to appoint. Then Maibuya Clinic is sitting at Mukhale City, stage 2 at concept. We have received a letter on this one as well, Chair, from our client that indicated the project must be stopped and we must also prepare a final account. So those are just the few remaining projects that we were dealing with on behalf of Health Department. Thanks, Chair.
Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, MEC. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, HODs, and good morning, colleagues at large. Our presentation is around the acquisition processes and the municipal debt. Can I ask that the person who's assisting me go to that slide? I don't know the number. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. In explaining this, it was important for us to just indicate which legislation guides us in terms of the ownership or the registration of the land or state-owned immovable property. So in terms of Section 239 and Schedule 6 and Item 28(1) of the Constitution, that's how we get to then register the properties that are owned by the state. Government Immovable Asset Register also regulates asset management, allocation, and the surrendering of processes for government properties by the departments to what we call the custodian department. Then Section 42 of PFMA, it prescribes the transfer process of assets between the departments to ensure accountability. We thought that was important for us to explain. So the next process, we've just taken donation, but there are other ways that we could transfer or acquire property from the municipality, but in the main acquisition that we're looking at is donation, where we would have to then receive a mandate from the user department as the custodian being DID. We would have to do site inspections just to verify the existence of the required asset and mainly the ownership as well. We then would need the municipality being the landowner to then express their interest to then donate the property to the province. It's important, even if it's a donation, that we do valuations so that we know the take-on value. I know sometimes people think that because it's a donation, there is no need to do a valuation. We still do that process. We then, from a provincial point of view, before we can accept any donation, we have to get a GPT to approve that donation. And sometimes they would look at the donation and then put conditions that we would have to take into consideration in terms of before we can finalize that. And the recent change on that is that initially we used to take a donated property from the municipality without the township establishments. And these are some of the reasons why we find ourselves today with some of these projects not being finalized, because we took on properties that needed to still go through the township establishment processes. We are now saying that we need to get a commitment from the municipality that they will help with that township establishment before we can actually take this process forward. We then have to then get the necessary confirmation of acceptance by the user department, because they need to also they are the party to the contract. We then conclude the donation agreement and the signing and as well as the transfer. We would then have to take this into our asset register and then there's the safekeeping of the number, which is the normal process of the title deed safekeeping. The next one is just, maybe I need to do a disclaimer before I go through this process. It's important to understand that although the SPLUMA is an act that is governing all the municipalities, their processes differ, their timeframes differ. So what we are using here, we took the COJ process just to give a sense of how or the timelines that they normally would use in terms of this process. From a township perspective, there's a period of 3 months for decision from date of submission of a complete application, 4 months for post-approval phase, which excludes the period for installation of services and obligations required from the appointed service provider. For rezoning, they take about 3 months from decision from date of submission of a complete application, and another 3 months for promulgation processes and calculation of the contributions that must be made towards the bulk. Land use consent, they say they take about 2 months from decision from date of submission of a complete application, and it's important to underline complete, because sometimes they back and forth between us and the municipalities in terms of some of the information that they feel is not properly addressed in the application is one of the reasons why we take time. The subdivisions, where a land has to be subdivided, they say it takes 2 months from decision of date of a complete application and 2 months from post-approval phase, and this excludes the period of installation of services and obligations required from the appointed service provider. The SDPs, special development plans, it's 28 days for decision from date of submission of a complete application. The building plans, they say, takes 10 days from date of submission of complete applications. And as we can see, if everything is seamless, smooth, and everything is done, this process is much quicker. So MEC did talk about the workshop that we had with the municipalities. The intention was really to understand what exactly is preventing us from complying and adhering to these timelines. And this is a process that we're working towards to try and deal with those backlogs that we've identified as part of that workshop. The next one is just a sequence of town planning applications and building regulation process, which the infrastructure development projects must follow. And this is in line with the SPLUMA. So with the property that is proclaimed, so property within a proclaimed township, it will then have to have the correct land use rights. It is very important, it is important to ensure that we understand the ownership of this property. The owners of the property is important before we can take it through the township establishment. Then from a property that has correct land use rights, which is zoning, a site development plan will then be approved, a building plan will be approved, and then construction. This is if everything is in order. But if it is a piece of land that is within an area where there is no township that has been established, the process that I've outlined in terms of the timelines that I mentioned at the beginning, where the township must, facilitation of the township establishment application to comply with conditions of approval and proclamation in this office and promulgation by the municipality. It has to follow that process. If the property also is not correctly zoned, we need to then facilitate the rezoning application to comply with conditions of approval and the promulgation by the municipality. The same thing happens with the site development plan. So there is a straightforward process, but then there are issues where you find that the land that we are dealing with does not have all of this approvals, or it's not a township proclaimed property. It then follows a different process, and that's where a lot of time is spent. And that's what we are trying now to iron out now in terms of the new processes that we are working between ourselves and the municipality, but also including Treasury to help us to make sure that this process is as seamless as possible. The next one is just the process flow town planning application process. I've already touched on some of this. I think what is important to note here is that we are engaging municipalities after the workshop that we had with the municipalities, and having seen that there are different processes that are being followed by the municipalities. We are now engaging with them. We are trying to map a process that we can then track and trace between ourselves and the municipalities. So in terms of the pre-application, it's important to verify the ownership of the relevant property. If you don't have the ownership as a province, we then ask for a power of attorney from the municipalities. And it's interesting, in some areas we've actually had challenges to get a power of attorney, but it's some things that we are still trying to deal with. We then appoint a professional team that is managed by our town planner. There's compilation of the technical reports, the engineering services, traffic impact, environmental, conveyancers and the land surveyors that we have to have on board to help us to be able to finalize this process. I think what is very important, which came out when we engaged with the municipalities, they said, you know, colleagues, we are partners. So one of the steps that we've been missing between ourselves is a pre-consultation where we engage with the municipality right at the beginning so that they have a sense of what is coming. They can prepare, they can then get their resources ready so that they are then aligned by the time we come with the applications. And there's also pre-consultation with the relevant sector departments to ensure that they also understand what's coming, because you submit to the municipality, they also then have to take their applications through the different municipal departments to get the inputs, and that's where the time is wasted. Now we understand this, there is a process that we are following to ensure that we are then able to ensure that by the time our applications get to the municipalities, those pre-consultations have taken place. Then there's the application submission, where we then submit applications to the municipality. The municipality then confirms if application is complete, and this is where we've had a lot of miscommunication, where because we don't have the track and trace process that we are currently busy with right now, sometimes municipality would have responded, or they say they responded, but nobody knows where that response is sitting. Or they've responded to the service provider and we don't know as the province. So those are some of the things that we are trying to deal with. There's also the issue of the public participation, where the municipality has to advertise as per the municipal bylaws, and then the municipality then would issue proof of compliance. Then there's the evaluation, where the application is circulated to various internal departments for consideration. Owner is informed, which would be, in this case, I'm talking the province, if there are outstanding technical documents, and we will then have to submit those outstanding documents. The application would be approved maybe with conditions and maybe sometimes with no conditions at all. The pre-proclamation, the conditions of approval have to be met before that time, before the proclamation. The general plan finalization and the registration, and then the clearance to open the township register. Then finally the notice published in the Government Gazette. It's quite a process, and if you don't understand it, from the planning perspective, I think this is where we end up with spending a lot of time, and the project then gets affected. But what is also important is, from a provincial point of view, we have put together a policy that is meant to assist us to ensure that it's called Project Readiness Matrix Policy. The intention of that policy is to ensure that we don't start with any project until we've ticked all the right boxes right at the beginning. Do you own the land? Is the land zoned properly? Is the land, is a township establishment? Have we done the studies? Only then, once those have been signed, can we then say the project is ready? Can we then ask for funding? I think it's very important that we all aligned in terms of that, because if we don't do that, then it becomes a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to try and be quicker. I just also wanted to talk about the structures that we've put in place between ourselves and the municipalities at the different levels. We do have different levels. The Chief Director at the Technical Infrastructure Services, who then has weekly discussions around the different projects using our new system that I'm sure we are all aware, the IDEP, that is meant to help us to monitor progress on the projects that the different service providers are assisting us on. We are also able to see the progress in the form of the portfolio of evidence in terms of pictures. There is a discussion that happens on a weekly basis. We also now have a departmental IGR forum which takes place monthly. This I chair. I meet with the municipalities on a monthly basis, quarterly basis. But there are times, as in the last few weeks, we've been meeting on a weekly basis because of the outcome of the workshop where we are trying to make sure that we address some of the outstanding decisions that came out of that meeting. Then we meet with the MEC. I know we say quarterly here, but we do have a weekly session that we have with the MEC just to make sure that we track some of the challenges that we are currently dealing with. At the end there, just to indicate that, like I said, there's a track and trace monitoring tool that we've developed to enable the submission and also for us to monitor where the applications are within the municipal system. We are busy with the process right now, Chair, where we are intending to automate that process. The intention is to make sure that there is transparency between us and the municipalities as much as possible. Because when we understand where the application is stuck and what the reasons are, then we are then able to be agile in our response to those issues. I'm done with the processes. I'll go to the last section, which talks to the debt owed to the municipalities, which is the issues around the rates and taxes. I must indicate, you will see that the smaller municipalities, we try as much as possible because of the resources that are really constrained. We try to deal with the smaller municipalities as much as possible because we know financially it is a problem. You will see that currently the total that we're owing as of the previous financial year, we're sitting at about 188 million. The current debt from July to August, I must admit we have not received, and we've written letters to the municipalities because this is what we do. We've asked municipalities to please submit their claims so that we are then able to then process them. We are now getting closer to our adjustment, budget adjustment. We need to go get those claims in time so that we can then be able to deal with that. I think what is important is on the next slide in terms of what we are doing. So it's important to indicate that the department, we've been allocated a budget of 1.1 billion towards the payment of rates and taxes because it is quite a huge portfolio for the current financial year, the period 25-26. 650 of that was utilized to settle accruals, mainly because there were challenges around the budget. To date, the current expenditure amounts to 803 million, which represents 71% of the rates and taxes allocated budget. The department's commitment for 25-26 currently is estimated at 1.3 billion, while only 328 million is currently remaining in the budget. And there is a process that we are currently following to ensure that we finalize. The business case has already been finalized. We are just busy getting it through our finance team and refining the numbers so that we can then be able to present it to the different structures. But we also engage municipalities on an annual basis where we put together a plan, just so that when they plan their own, from a finance perspective, they understand that we have a challenge as the province, but we engage with them and we come up with a payment plan in terms of how best we can then settle this outstanding debt. As I said, the business case is already done to request the funding that we will require for additional funds. In conclusion, Chair and honorable members, MEC, Mayor and the colleagues, this was just to give an overview of the incomplete projects per municipality, infrastructure processes for municipal approval, and to indicate the debt owed to municipalities as end of August. We would want to recommend that Infrastructure Portfolio Committee notes the report as presented. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything from you, HOD? Let me see.
No, thank you very much. I think, I don't know HOD, but we can hand over to. There's just one point I think I must emphasize though. On the last presentation, the track and trace that we are putting together, it's an automated solution where we can view where the application is. We need to make sure that we open, because currently when an application goes into a municipality, you can't see it. You don't even know where it is, who's handling it, how long it's taking. So the track and trace digital platform is for us to see. When we intervene, discuss with municipalities, we should be sure exactly what are we talking about. The municipalities should know what we're talking about. The quality, and if there's a problem, who caused the problem? Because more often, our PSPs, they are the ones who don't do quality work, and then we don't have a way of knowing what exactly is the problem. So I just wanted to say to you that this track and trace of municipal applications, it's very important, and I want to emphasize it as a way of making sure that the municipal space doesn't become a black box where you put an application, you don't know where it is until it comes out bad, or you have to check and you don't even know where it is. So I just thought, let me overemphasize that point. Is very important. Thanks. I don't know if you want to make a comment.
Thank you, MEC, and thanks, honorable members and chair, for the opportunity. We took just like over an hour to present, but we felt that maybe the details are important for this particular gathering, because we normally say that the devil is in the detail. And you'll know, Chairperson, that in most of these projects which are delayed, they are either in the education space or in the health space, which are critical service delivery points for our communities. Therefore, we as a department are committed in making sure that we can speed up these processes and make sure that we comply with municipal requirements, so that the sooner we get into the space of construction, the better. But lastly, Chairperson, there was a big issue which was raised by Acting DDG Bawinile about health. We know that we've got a challenge with health, and the latest letter from them was also a spanner in the wheel, where they were requesting us to stop all the projects which are at planning stage. It looks like the department has got some challenges financially, therefore they are also trying to insource or do things within the department, maybe hoping that it will be cheaper. But on the base of that letter, verbally, Chairperson, just to note, and so that we can check this progress, engage the HOD of Health, who indicated that that letter was triggered by the Treasury's circular, which was encouraging the department to embark on a process of budget or financial consolidation. And we have committed to each other as HODs of health and education to engage on these matters and to ensure that we present to them to show us the value add which DID, especially on the base of the turnaround, will add to health department infrastructure project, to ensure that the government of Gauteng does not spend more than it's required by creating an infrastructure capacity in health, whereas it exists in DID. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, MEC HOD and the department, for your presentations. I'm hoping members have been taking notes, and we are going to step off this one. We'll come back in it when we deal with the discussions. We are now going to take the municipalities. I know the MMC in Johannesburg, they said she sent an apology, but I just want to check, do we have a presentation from Joburg? Is anyone here from the city of Johannesburg? They are not here. City of Johannesburg, city of Tshwane, are you here? Okay, you can come in front. Thank you very much. So Johannesburg, the MMC did not come, and there is no one to present to us, and yet they have many projects. We are noting. We are noting. Did they send the presentation to Johannesburg? So they did not send anything, they just sent an apology and that's it. Okay, thank you. So they must deal with their officials. Definitely. Thanks. Colleagues, those who have presentations, can they please send them to Kaya so that we can have them? Normally, when the legislature convenes people to come before it, they normally would send their presentations before so that we are able to can engage with them. It's very difficult to engage something that you see for the first time. Yes, so if they can be sent to Kaya, those that are available. And I don't think I'm going to take presentations from the districts. So your Western and CDB, I don't think we are going to take presentations from yourselves, but your local municipalities are the ones that must present to us. Thank you. Maybe just as they are busy trying to connect so that we can flight the presentation, is City of Ekurhuleni present? So that we know who's not here. So it's Joburg. So there is no Ekurhuleni. So the only metro that took us serious is City of Tshwane. The other ones, they don't take us serious. Do we have Mokhale local municipality here? No. Rand West? Rand West is here. Mirafong? The mayor is here, okay. Lesedi? Midval, Mfuleni, and Mfuleni. So Mfuleni is serious. We welcome the two MMCs. It shows the seriousness. Those that are not here, it means they think what we are doing here is not important. I was about to say that MEC, you are here and you can see at the level of COCTA what are our challenges at an IGR engagement. Yeah, definitely. When they know that power might leave office, they will come running, definitely. So colleagues, we only have Mirafong and Rand West here, beside counting DIT and COCTA and City of Tshwane and Mfuleni. So we have 4 municipalities out of 11. Thank you. That's noted. It's very interesting.
I'm from Tshwane. There are 2 issues which I just want to clarify before we present, because there's a misconception. I think something's not right.
colleagues, are we able to agree that while they are connecting, she can start? Thank you very much. Oh, no, it's there. No, we can begin.
No, thanks, Chair. On behalf of the City of Tshwane, my name is Makhoromeji Makhata. I think there are two main issues which I just want to deal with before we start with the presentation. The first one is about the command center, which I think the department presented here to say they are still waiting for rezoning application. And I just want to indicate that we did communicate with the head of department at the time, it was still Masabata. The application was approved in April. So I'm not sure if the gap where is coming from, but the application was approved in May. I know the challenge, the work we are working on was only the building plans, but the approval was granted. And unfortunately, I'm the one who communicated directly with the head of department, and it was approved. But the other issue, Chair, is with regard to the Women Living Heritage Museum. I think we all know the history about it, but maybe just to give a sort of high-level brief in terms of what really happened. We received the building plans as the City of Tshwane on the 31st of October 2013. And as part of that process, we did evaluate the plans, and then we recommended for approval a month after that. So after that, then the contractor was appointed. So they started to build work, to do work, and then we did inspection, the foundation inspection on the 7th of November 2013, and the open drainage on the 13th of March 2015. And that final inspection, which was conducted again on the 9th of March, we then indicated to the contractor at the time that for both inspections were not in compliance with the national building regulations. From there, then there was a final inspection together with the service provider and the contractor. Then the inspection was done on the 20th of March 2018, and then the city raised a number of matters which will need to be resolved. And I want to indicate the chairperson, including the MEC, that we have been communicating ever since with the contractor and also with the service provider appointed by a province. And we also issued, our chief inspector, chairperson, was that we did reissue the outstanding documentations. That was done as early as 2014. But then even now, I think the last inspection was conducted. That is where now the department was involved. So in that meeting, we indicated that the number of inspections which were done, but also we requested that they must then amend the plans because they deviated from the approved plan. So that was needed to happen. There were no fire plans, no landscape certificates, no mechanical engineer certificate, no plumbing certificate, no land surveyor certificate, no structures certificate. You can see all these issues are outstanding. And then we communicated with the department now to say, we are prepared to issue temporary occupation. That was done before for Women's Month. We then said, if they can submit amended plans to ensure that whatever is existing is in line with what is approved. And two, if they can just give us structural engineering certificate, because there's no way in which we can issue temporary occupation if there's no structural engineer certificate, because if something happens, we as the city will be responsible. And as it is now, chairperson, we have not received anything. That's the status as we speak now. We have not received all these required documentations as required by law. So I just wanted to give that in terms of where we are. Thanks, chairperson.
Thank you very much. You can proceed.
Okay, good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorables and all protocol observed. My name is Mapule Love Monkuna. I'm representing City of Tshwane. So I'll be speaking to the slides projected on 5 of the projects that we are facilitating and trying to expedite approvals. So I'll get straight to the first project, which is Buikutong Central District Clinic with a property description of F1266 Soshanguve. So we have issued an approval for the rezoning and also the simultaneous subdivision and consolidation, the approval was issued. Currently, our group property department is awaiting revised valuation for the alienation of properties that are also affecting these projects. So, so far, no occupational certificate has been issued. So I must bring it to your attention that the projects that we are currently assisting with, they are existing. So we are finalizing the processes of compliance. So the building plan have been submitted, but they are pending finalization of comments from the other departments that needs the attention of DID, as well as complying with the post-compliance processes. So DID still need to submit all the relevant documentation to finalize the post-compliance processes. Then we have the second one, which is Mandisa Siteke on 356 Hamaskral. This one also, the rezoning was issued in June 2023, and the same with the subdivision and the consolidation. We went as far as issuing a temporary occupation certificate that then lapsed in January 2025. So we are still waiting for DID to come forth with finalization of the building plans so that they can be in compliance with the National Building Regulation Act and the applicable legislation, which is your typical SPLUMA and our bylaws. Then we have Kekana Start, which is on remainder of portion 2 of the farm Ukral. An extension of time application for rezoning was submitted on the 12th of August on this one, and also a submission of a simultaneous subdivision and consolidation that is currently circulating for comments. So far, we received comments that then necessitate services reports for geology as well as water and sanitation. So DID still need to engage with the appointed service provider to submit the required reports to the city in order to comply. Then we have Judge Mukari Academic Hospital that is located on F6480, Harankuwa, Unit 5. So this is a township establishment that is submitted in progress, but also pending outstanding comments from external and some of the internal. So the appointed service provider for DID to obtain all the outstanding comments, especially the external comments. Then some of the comments that came through that read negative but not necessarily negative, then require the services reports as well, and also some of the condition of establishment that need to be attended to by the appointed professional service provider from DID. So the last one we've already spoken to, which is the Women Heritage Museum. So these are the main ones that we really feel like we went far with the facilitation and trying to assist with the DID, but as soon as an approval is issued, the issue of post-compliance and the submission of the other relevant plans, like your building plans and your SDP, these then tend to be not necessarily ignored, but parked until such time whereby the approval lapse. So these are the issues that we'd like to bring to your attention. We do have a unit under economic development special planning called development facilitation. We are working very close with colleagues from DID. We do have standing monthly meeting. We engage with them on a regular basis. We do have spreadsheets that we complete, that we populate and complete and report on the progress, and also share with colleagues that also have to populate from their sites if they're in agreement with the progress. And another one that I think is critical is the gap with regards to reporting between the appointed service provider, the client, and also the city. So I think it's one gray area that we need to tight, or that we need to pay attention to. So as much as we can report to the client, if the service provider is giving a different reporting, then it causes the confusion. So If you allow me, Chair, I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tsone, for your presentation. We are going to take, do you want to add anything? If you are good, we are going to take Rand West. If they can come, please. Yes, Kaya, Nipi, we need to assist Rand West. Yeah. Thank you. Rand West submitted very early, eh? Must, yeah, we were even able to say, go and correct 1, 2, 3, 4, on time.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Portfolio Committee, MEC, Executive Mayor, MMC in the House, HODs and colleagues. My name is Vuyani Bewa from Rand West City, Executive Director responsible for Economic Development, Human Settlement and Planning. With me is the MMC of Infrastructure, the Executive Director from Infrastructure, and 2 managers from Infrastructure. I must also apologize for the MMC for planning. She's a business meeting for the city. But also the CFO, they are currently busy with AGs, that season where the AG is visiting us. Thanks. This is the outlay of our presentation to deal with the status of land acquisition. The second part will be dealing with incomplete projects implemented by DIT, and the third one will be provincial debt to municipalities. In terms of projects, the first one is the CIF. It's in Begesdal on portion 1, remainder of the farm Maputi 761 IQ. We had a previous resolution on this property, which council approved on the 2nd of August 2023 with the resolution number. The council resolution and the deeds of donation were submitted to DIT in 2023. However, this year, August, we received a letter from DIT on the 15th of July, to say the donee, because in our council resolution and the deeds of donation, we identified DIT as the donee, but they requested us in July this year that we must change to Gauteng Provincial Government, of which we ensured during August that the amendments go through all the committees within the municipality until the 27th, when it was presented to council and it was approved. That is the resolution number, but currently our legal department is looking at it. Before end of September, the council resolution and the deeds of sale will be submitted to DIT. And these are the properties that are affected, which is the ECDC in Vesborges Randfontein, the clinic in R4157 in Muhlakeng Extension 3, and the Badirile clinic in Badirile, which is on R1431. The second part of those projects includes the Muhlakeng ECD, which is on R6770 Extension 4. The first resolution was obtained in May 2024, and that's the council resolution number. The deeds were submitted, a letter that we received in July to change the donees, which we did. This also affected the ECDC in Muhlakeng R11266, but also affected the old age home in Muhlakeng on the same earth. The resolution number for the latest resolution was received on the 27th of August 2025 with the resolution number that is highlighted there. In terms of incomplete project or project that are in progress within our area is the SIF in Pegesdal. The occupation certificate has not yet been issued. We met with the officials from TIT on the 15th of August to try and find each other so that we can fast track the process. Things that were outstanding include the engineering certificate, plumbing certificate, gazing certificate, and the electrical compliance certificate. So they promised that they'll be working on that while they are finalizing the SIF so that there are no stop or delays when it's time to issue the occupation certificate. The Mhlakeng Old Age Home, there are no issues there, and the occupation certificate was issued some time ago. There's a clinic in Mhlakeng Extension 3. There's still, I think it's the one that also my colleague from TIT presented about. No occupation certificate has been requested there because they're still busy with on that clinic. My biggest challenge will be by the relay clinic, which is in R1431. It's part of a township called Badirile. The township has not been approved yet. When they were building houses there, they had a layout plan. But when they started building, they encroached on that layout plan. So we need to rectify that layout plan to take into consideration what is on the ground. And as a city, as a department, we've been struggling to appoint land surveyors due to financial constraints in the municipality, where we need to rectify the whole SG diagram so that we can be able to open a township registration of title deed, then understand that the property can be transferred to the GPG. But the biggest problem is that the SG diagram is not correct, so there's no way we can proceed. Mhlakeng Extension 13, there's a school that is still in the planning from Department of Education and TIT. The land, there's a township where the land was donated by Harmony to the municipality, but they didn't take the process forward. We just engaged with Harmony. Now they've appointed conveyancers who are busy with the transfer of land from the municipality from Harmony to TIT to the municipality. Then that will follow by us transferring the property to provincial government. Simunye Secondary is a construction project that has taken so long. It's in Simunye, and we really don't know what are the biggest challenges there, because even in our bilateral meetings with TIT, this project has not been discussed, but it seems there are project management issues. And it also affecting South Deep Mine, which is one of the mines in the area. Previously, they committed to build few classes in the school so that it can be able to accommodate the number of kids that are enrolled there. But it was communicated to them that no, the DIT or education will be able to cover those classes, so they must do something else in the school. One of the things that they've identified is to have a solar energy as a backup, but they can't do that before that school is complete, and it's affecting their social labor plan. But we also, so the air for the school is the 14478 Western Arabia, just it went to the different block. And in the meetings that are chaired by the MEC, I think they are weekly or bi-weekly, they've indicated, but also in our books, it shows that there are schools belonging to GPG or to Department of Education of TIT that still need to be transferred to the province. We are requesting TIT to follow the same procedure with the other properties that we have transferred, just to submit a request so that when you take the report to council, there's a supporting document from TIT that these are the schools that need to be transferred to the province. Municipal debt, provincial debt to municipalities. This is the information we got from finance. The DID account, there are about 136 accounts, and it owes about 3 million in that account. There's the education department. These are the services that need to be paid by education. They owe about 2 million. There's municipal land SDF. These are the schools that I was referring to, schools that are on the properties owned by the municipality. Those schools, they owe about 108. and we can't collect, like the previous speaker indicated, it's still in the name of the municipality, so we can't bill DID on those. Private donation, there's a school which was transferred directly to the province by a mine, but it seems the transfer has not been finalized. So it's owing that amount of money. And there are properties that belong to public works. All those things, I've listed the monies that are owed. But where I need to touch is on the challenges. No clear of ownership register between some of the properties are public works properties, but previously DIT were paying for them. And when we go and claim now, they refers us to National Department refers us to DIT. Properties owned by municipality with schools built on it, loss of revenue is what I indicated earlier on. Private donation to Failune School is the one that I referred earlier on to say the transfers has not been done. The last slide on my side is to indicate that some of these accounts are being serviced. It shows what DIT has paid 2017, 2018, 2020, maybe due to COVID coming in, colleagues didn't pay, and going forward to 2025. So that's the amount that they were able to pay. But if you go to the previous slide, if we add all the amounts that are being owed, it's about 19 million. So this is the last slide from myself, which indicates how frequent do DIT and other stakeholders or partners pay or service their account. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kecha. Without any waste of time, I will call Mirafo. Thank you.
Okay, good day, Chairperson. All protocol observed. My name is Dogozo Kubevu. I'm from Merafong City Local Municipality, Technical Services. So I'm with the Executive Mayor, MMC, Infrastructure Development, as well as the Executive Manager, ETP, as well as Manager for Revenue and Manager for Planning. So I'll be doing the presentation for Merafong. I'm not so sure whether we have it displayed. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Part of our presentation will cover obviously the topics that were raised, that we are supposed to talk to. Starting from the first slide, like I said, the content is just to talk about the incomplete projects that were implemented, as well as the land acquisition and infrastructure approval, and provincial debt to the municipality. So starting with the incomplete projects, we've got the project that was already been presented by the department, of which it is Gauteng South Clinic in Merafong. That project, we understand it is not yet completed, even though it was initiated. So I think for the same reason that were presented by the department. However, we decided to include these 4 schools that we believe that the department has conducted some assessment, or maybe, if I may say, studies, which were harshly affected by the sinkholes. So these four schools, they were harshly affected by sinkholes. Some of these schools, I think, as early as last year, they also had to be closed in other areas because of the sinkholes. So we've got these 4 schools. I'm not going to explain further in terms of the amount that estimated based on these schools, because I think it will be premature for me to explain that. But what is important is that this is one of the major problems that we are facing at Merafong that we want to display. So in terms of the land acquisition, so as Merafong City Local Municipality, we don't have major issues for the land acquisition. If I may say, most of the town planning processes that were due to Merafong were conducted successfully and completed. However, I just want to display the issue of the RF 1802 in Kokosi Extension 3, where the request for the donation is being assessed and processed. The application could not be accessed and processed after the MOU and the land transfer between the DID and Merafong was finalized. So these are the issues, but this issue was actually supposed to be finalized in February 2025. So whereby we are supposed to have the MOU that was signed. I think it was signed, but my colleague will also maybe come in terms of that one from EDP, just to verify that one. So in terms of other issues, in terms of the overview of the projects, on the municipality as Merafong, let me quickly go there. So this is the issue that I was talking about, that was transferred between Merafong City Local Municipality and Gauteng. So that was concluded in February. So we are hoping this one we don't have any major issues in terms of that one. So going further down, we've got the historical land acquisition request indicated at F6241 Gauteng South. On that one, the status quo is that the request for donation that was done in May 2022 was assessed by the municipality, technical services and legal services departments. Then the deed search indicates that that land is privately owned, and therefore a request for donation of the land by Merafong City Local Municipality cannot be considered on the land that is not owned by the municipality. I think that's a common it's a common problem, I think, to most of the municipality, this one, as well as that one of Kokosi that I was talking to, and then the portion of 3335 in Kokosi Extension 4. On this one, the assessment will commence when the donation request is resubmitted to the municipality. On this one, we can safely say there is a municipality requested the resubmission of the donation request by the department, as initially a submitted request cannot be traced by the team. And then if we go further more on the other slide, we've got 2 properties description here, the Greens Park as well as in Gauteng South, and then in Gauteng, Merafong requested the resubmission again in terms of that one. Again, that one is the same comment. We also waiting for once we got we receive the documents, and then we'll be able to do the reassessment. And then on the last one, of which it is Greens Park, it's actually the same thing. Merafong requested the resubmission, and then the assessment will only commence when the donation request is resubmitted to the municipality. In terms of the government debt by the government debt owed to the municipality, we've got a consolidated amount of 27 million that is owed to the municipality. And out of that, I must indicate that municipality has put a claim of 12 million for rates and taxes that was submitted particularly to the department DIT, and that payment was made in 2 tranches. So it was made in 2 tranches. The first tranche was about 9 million, the second tranche was about 3 million. So that was the recent payment in 30th of June. Or normally the municipality will send the claims particularly towards the end of the month, September, and then For now, we'll only send the claim towards the end of September for the new payments. So, but I must indicate that if you look at the 27.6, it's actually the consolidated, including other departments. So if I can just break it down to the other departments, as you can see that we've got all these departments that are owing municipality, and the total figure there adds up to 27 million. That was the last slide, Chairperson. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for the presentation. Mirafo, that was Mirafo. We are now going to take Mfuleni, local municipality, if they can come.
Thank you. Chair, can I start? No, thank you very much, Chair.
Colleagues who are beginning, thank you.
No, thank you, Chair, and good morning to MEC, MMCs, mayors, HODs, and colleagues. Unlike other municipalities, I'm also not alone. It's a full house from Mfuleni. We've got MMC of Economic Development Planning. We also have MMC for Infrastructure Planning and Implementation. We also have Acting ED of Infrastructure Planning and Implementation, and two colleagues from Properties Department. I will quickly go through the issues that were not really covered by DID. There are more issues that we are also currently busy with, so I'll focus on those ones. Maybe I must just start by a comment following what MEC was saying regarding electronic systems that enable submission of building plans and town planning. We, in Mfuleni, we have appointed Esri to help us with that system. We should be rolling it out soon, so it's under development, so we should be able to track some of these submissions. All right, I will start with the first one, which is Rusteval. It was reported on, but I will just touch on the latest developments. Province did indicate that there needs to be a revised council resolution. We hold a contrary view. We believe there's really no need to have a new council resolution. It's just that the council resolution that we have did not cover issues of consolidation, subdivision, and public place closure. But council did approve for donation of that property so that it can be used for expansion of Rasteval primary school. So we must just then focus on the public place closure, consolidation and subdivision, and also rezoning application to enable transfer of that property from the municipality to DID. The second one is Sharpeville ECDC. We have presented the item already at EXCO, and it also went to Section 80. It's just that it had some mistakes and it was deferred. It will go to the next Section 80, which will be sometime later on this month. I must say the delay is not due to the municipality's doing. We received a request for an innovation hub, which we took it to to EXCO. After the resolution from EXCO, we received another request that no, we must keep it as an ECDC. So we needed to go to EXCO to then rescind that resolution. But I'm happy to report that EXCO has approved for the donation, and as I mentioned, it will go to the next Section 80 and then hopefully council soon. Bophelong ECDC, we are busy with the donation processes there. As a colleague from DID mentioned that they insist on property valuation. So we are just waiting for a evaluation report from our contracted valuers. They have promised that we will get that valuation report by end of today. And then the fourth one, which is Wipato ECDC, there's a long story to this one. It was a project that was initially implemented by the municipality. We didn't have an approved building plans. The municipality couldn't approve the building plans because of a gas line that is adjacent to the property. And our consultation with SOSO, they have indicated that they don't support the ECDC there. And then the DID is looking at repurposing that structure as a provincial archive center, which SASO has indicated that they will be in support of that usage of that property. All right. Sebokeng Clinic, I think we need further details, but my understanding is that we have finalized the deed of sale, just needs to be signed by DID. Bophelong Clinic, the site that was identified by DID, we learned that that site has already been earmarked by Department of Education, so there needs to be a request for an alternative site. But we are willing to donate it to DID, but for the purposes of education, because that site fits the size of a school. So we will, it will form part of the donations for school, which I will later speak to. And then Malestein Clinic, we have informed DID that there needs to be a subdivision application because there's also a library on that site, library which should be on our property. Hence, we've suggested that there should be a subdivision application there. And then the last one is an item that we are currently busy with. We still have a lot of schools and clinics that are in the ownership of the municipality. We're just finalizing due diligence. We should be able to table the item for donation to EXCO in the next week or so. There we're looking at about 95 properties that are scattered throughout the municipality. We are not without our challenges. The delays are mostly due to capacity constraints. We are working on it. There are 2 colleagues that are acting in the properties department, and we've interviewed for 3 positions. And the other delay, which I've already spoken to, it's duplications of requests, and you don't know which one you should focus on. You end up rescinding and having to prepare new items. And then lastly, some of the council resolutions are difficult to work with, as I had mentioned with the Rasteval, where DID is saying, let's go back to council. But we're saying there's really no need. But it's something that we are also working on as a cluster. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mpuleni, for your presentation. Colleagues, we are now going to open for its engagements. And maybe before I start with members, maybe start with yourselves, colleagues. Is there any clarity you would want to ask the DID, or the DID asking you a clarity, vice versa? It's a discussion. I know you, amongst yourselves, you know what we are talking about, and you have even reported that you are constantly engaging on these issues. But if you don't have anything to ask yourselves, it's fine. We will ask you questions. So I'm going to take members. We'll have 2 bites because we are few. So I'll start with Member More, and then
Thank you very much, Chairperson. And maybe let me start by thanking the department and various municipalities for their presentation. Sure, Chairperson, I've got a lot of questions, but I'm going to try and summarize, you know. Maybe for the first presentation, let me reiterate the words of MEC Mamabolo when he mentioned that a lot of issues, certificates and approvals, are actually sitting with municipalities. My biggest question is, what measures are in place, MEC, to hold these municipalities to account? It's a pity that the projects that are here, we don't have the dates to say commencement date and the anticipated finish date. So it's not so easy to hold them accountable. The only date I have that I know by heart is the one of the lab, Yako Johannesburg, Forensic, that was started in 2016, supposed to be finished in 2019. So my question is, I think, wow, in the public sector, until consequence management is actually put in place and realized truthfully, we're not going to move. MEC, as also MEC of COCTA, we shouldn't be having these issues, to be honest, sitting here talking about municipalities. Colleagues in municipalities, I'm not sure how long does it take to just transfer, to have that resolution. Because basically every project would have a project plan, am I right? Project plan with timelines. But if one thing doesn't happen, then it means everything else falls away, you know? Then the project is delayed. And we know that time is money, colleagues. You delay a project, bricks go up, cement go up. I mean, all our projects, the amounts are very high now, almost twice the original amount. So MEC, this one is to you to say, what action have you taken? Because I'm sure this has been perpetuating forever. What action have you taken? And if no action as yet, are you going to take action, honestly, to hold mayors or whoever must be held accountable? Because I don't understand why resolutions are not passed in council so that projects can continue on the ground. And it's like COJ, we are the biggest culprit. I'm not sure we are the metro that should be leading and showing other metros, you know, how these things are done and all of that. I'm actually so disappointed in my own metro that they're not complying. And the issue of attendance, Chairperson, I'm a bit worried that when you invite people to these meetings where we're going to talk about issues, resolve this thing, you know, streamline, fight amongst ourselves until we get each other and do the right thing for our people. Some people do not really pitch. Don't even send people in their department. I mean, MEC Waronako Jobek should have sent somebody in the department, because colleagues, if we are leaders, we don't lead people. We don't have anybody that we're empowering to actually represent us when we are there. Then we're not doing anything. So it means all of you you leave this department. It means we are doomed. You know. So I'm not happy with the issue of attendance, Chairperson. I think all these municipalities that did not attend, and especially those that did not send apologies, because I've tried to follow it up and remember, did I hear apologies, blah, blah, blah. But I think something needs to be done. I'm not sure by yourself or by the MEC. Because colleagues, if we don't take being together here discussing issues serious, then we give vicious cycle. And our people will forever be burning tires. You'll put tar road, tomorrow we put tires and burn. Give vicious cycle. So, yeah. Okay, that is the first question. I've spoken about the issue of time, it's money. And then on the issue, the lab, I also serve, I'm sure most of you by now colleagues are aware that I also serve more health. The issue here, the lab, I have a lot of questions under the lab, but I'll leave them. Let me see, just to say, what is the new anticipated date, completion? Colleagues, you would know the importance of the lab, pathology. It would mean that, I was shocked that there are bodies that at times are not buried for even 6 months, MEC, because by autopsy. Can you imagine the delay and everything on that family? So, what is the new anticipated date? I know that you've initiated an investigation on this one, but how do we move forward? How do we move forward? And then City of Eguruleni, on the issue, Dr. W.K. Duplessis, LSEN. I'm not sure, you're talking about a sewer line adjacent to school property. Actually, this is the department's report on the DID, Delayed Education Project. So I'm not sure, I thought before or during the planning phase, there'll be a geotech report in Yana that says here, there's this, here's that, something like that. Are these things not seen during that phase and rectified to say, we need to shift this, there should be money? I mean, streamlining everything in that project plan and, this report, ensuring that the next step is done. If there's any deviations, they must happen at that time. So I just want to inquire about that. And then on the issue of municipality issuing, I've spoken about it. Why does it take so long for municipalities, honestly, to just do the resolution to transfer the site or land to GPG so that GPG can start with projects? And there's a point where one of the presenters, I'm not sure whether it's Education or Star, where they said a decision has been made that no project will start without bulk in place, everything in place. I am waiting to see projects that will start with everything, and let's have a prototype, colleagues. And we do have successes here and there, but the many failures, they obscure the successes that we have as a department. Look, my questions are everywhere. Chairperson, can I sort myself out? I think the issue of the lab, I've spoken about it. Kuton Clinic as well, it's been another elephant in the room. And then, okay, this one is very important. IDID, I wonder what are you teaching the departments or the municipalities? You can't be owing them money. Colleagues. It's like you are the mother, you are drinking too much, but you're telling your kids not to drink. It doesn't work that way. So, let's not owe municipalities, because I'm sure poor colleagues, it does have negative impact on the work that they have to do. I mean, this is lots of monies. This is too much. And colleagues, it says a lot about us as leaders, honestly. Because, in life, I always say first things first. you know. So you have to pay your bills because you know you need water in your house, you need electricity, so that everything else can follow or fall into place. Your kids won't be able to do homeworks, thirsty, hungry, in the dark, and all of that. So if we cannot take these simple life lessons from home and put them where we work at work, honestly, Kibona, we are haphazard, we everywhere, it's messy. MEC, I'm looking forward to a day when you present that you owe nobody nothing and hold them accountable. Because at the moment, they're probably not even taking us serious. Because honestly, you owe them. You know, little things, colleagues, never underestimate. Little things like this, people don't take you serious. And you'll be shocked by the time you realize that this thing of the debt, maybe, you know, it is. Anything that you do as a leader, having followers, let me tell you, you have to be careful. Because they will tomorrow tell you. They will hold you accountable, and it might not look good. So it will be interesting to know by when are you going to finish City of Joburg, Tshwane, Eguruleni, and Rand West and Midvalle. And thank you very much that you don't owe Mfuleni, Lesedi, Mirafon. You know, these small municipalities are struggling, colleagues. They are struggling, I know. So, yeah, I think let's lead by example. But, yeah, for me, it's interesting. I would love to know the timelines. When are you going to finish the debt? Because I know, colleagues, you're struggling because of this money. Hence, some projects are not even moving. You can't even shift things around and find yourself. It will be interesting to actually say to those who are old, how does it impact? You know, how does it affect you? Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Member More. Member Raslingwan.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. I think I also just want to start by registering my concern on noting how City of Johannesburg, particularly, Chairperson, I mean, City of Johannesburg is burning. Just yesterday or the past 3 days, there've been Ivory Park that is burning. There's been Westbury that is burning. There's been a community called Cartonville or something that is also burning. And it's also issues related to, you know, COGTA as well as infrastructure because they're crying about water. So to invite them to these meetings and not have them attending, it's really, you know, telling us that we are in deep crisis in Gauteng province. And I think MEC sitting here as an MEC for COGTA, as much as you are saying that we need to engage with you to get them to attend, but this should show you that we have a serious leadership concern in these municipalities. To not have City of Ekurhuleni MEC, you would know how I always am in your case regarding City of Ekurhuleni and how it's also burning. Just today, Tsakane is actually striking, they're burning things, which also, you know, just emphasize how concerning the leadership that we have in Ekurhuleni, simply because when you invite them for this engagement and collaboration, they don't even, you know, take to account or at least try to send delegation. We understand that the mayor has many responsibilities, and so is the MECs, and maybe they might not be able to be here, but if there is leadership, at least they could be able to delegate people that will come here and at least account and, you know, have this engagement with us. Chairperson, maybe just to go back to the presentation, I must say it's quite a lot of presentation and my notes are also just quite a lot. And I hope, unlike Memore, I'm able to cover everything because I do think that the questions that I have are quite very important. I just want to start with Tshwane as well as Mfuleni because they indicated something that totally differs from what the department presented to us here. Listening to the presentation from Tshwane, I don't know if it was, no, it was before the presentation, just the comment from the colleague there. He's made mention of the Women Living Monument, and we were given another presentation by the department, but in his comment, he made mention on the fact that they reached out to the department and they have requested 4 documents and the department haven't been responsive, which really does talk to the concern that we have that there isn't any collaboration between the different spheres of government as the way the Constitution really guides us to have, considering Section 41. So it talks to the challenges that we have and the need for us to sit in these rooms and engage, given the concerns that we are having. We have so many projects that are incomplete. We have the department telling us that it's the municipalities that are not responsive, and then we have municipalities telling us that we don't have the department being responsive, or at least providing us with the documentation that we are requesting. So I just need clarity, Chairperson, in terms of the women living monument, as well as the Rastafal. I think a colleague from Mfuleni spoke about Rastafal. The department have given us a different motivation, and the colleague from Mfuleni spoke differently. So I think we should just request for clarity there. Just on the projects, okay, I think it's the first one. Just on the incomplete project, as much as we are given a list of incomplete projects, what seems to be missing and a bit concerning is the issue of HOD. You don't have time frames in terms of this is where we are, this is the challenge that we are facing, this is the anticipated time, or this is the communication that we have given to the municipalities. But also, what is also not included is the finances. How much is it going to cost us, given the delay that we have there? So I think some of the presentation you do, I think from oversight, require that there could be a little bit of information so that we are given a picture in terms of where we are and where we are going, and the expectations in terms of, the reality on how these schools and these hospitals and these clinics will be completed. And then there was also a mention from, I think it's Morafong or Mohale City, about My Weir Clinic. The presenter spoke about the clinic issue being closed. Maybe clarity, because when we went as an oversight late last year, there was nothing to show that there is progress. And I do believe that from where we are sitting, there hasn't been much progress. So where are we in terms of that, and what plans are there? Are we giving it back to health to manage the project by themselves because they're not happy of the delay to at least even start? Yes. HOD, I'm very much available to take you there. It's been 15 years of that clinic just having polls. So there I have my facts very correct. So are we giving it back to health? Are we continuing with it? What does the presenter mean when they're saying it's being closed? If we can get clarity regarding that. There's also a mention of, and I'm just going to try to close with this one because I do have quite a lot of questions I can also just send to the department for thorough responses. But you spoke about Spluma and municipalities by law, obviously, not responding to all these concerns that the department have. But I think what was also missing is the service level agreement. Do we have those in place when we start with these projects? And obviously, in a case where the municipalities are not responding and are not, giving the department joy, what measures do we have to ensure that if something is supposed to be responding within 3 months, if it's not done within 3 months, we are then able to hold them to account? I'm sure HOD at your position, I think you might have at least an advantage there where you can then at least enforce some, policy or maybe just any legal standing to prevent these delays, because all we hear is municipalities are not responding. But when they are not responding, what are we doing as DID so that our work is not delayed and held back because we're thinking that the municipalities are not doing their work? So if we can just get clarity on that in terms of the measurement that we've had. Bantu bonke MEC, we spoke about it yesterday. Restafal, we spoke about it as well. Relebohile, in, I think it's Morafong, Mohale City as well. It can't be that we have so many projects that are delayed and there isn't any time frames or timelines to say this is, the time where we think as the department we could have concluded or completed this project. When you consider the communities that are in need of those services, surely there should be some measurement, as the leadership as Memore has indicated, that we can take to ensure that we close those projects. I'll leave it at that, hoping that Member Mahlabe will cover some of my questions because it's quite a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Raslingwane, Member Mahlabe.
No, thank you, Chair. Greetings to the MEC, HODs, and our fellow colleagues. I think, Chair, I have been covered on a number of areas by my fellow members of the committee. However, I just want to zoom in straight to the issue of the 1 billion rand for rates and taxes. Are these paid for operational facilities? If not, how much of that is actually money attributed to non-functional facilities, like, for instance, the vacant land? The other issue, Chair, which I want to probably spend a little bit of time on is the issue of the monument, the women monument, and maybe direct the question to Tshwane. And the reason why I direct the question to Tshwane is that we've had a number of reports that we received from the department, which at the center of it, they place your response to the issue. And in terms of your presentation today, it paints a total different picture, so to say, you know. And therefore, it actually leaves us in the middle of who is fooling who and who is not telling what, you know. Precisely because in terms of the compliance issues that you gave to them that they have to meet, they said there has been a shifting of poles. I'm just summarizing with regards to you approving especially the fire certificates and those things that are related to amendments on the plan, you know. Now, what we found intriguing as the committee is the fact that you said they don't comply in terms of the new regulations, whereas the state theater site operates on the old regulations. Now, the question is, how is it possible that a project on the same earth, right, it's judged on different measure of judgment in terms of compliance, because state theater is compliant with old regulations, yet the extension that affects the monument is required to fulfill the prescripts of the new regulations. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to clarify that to us so that we have an understanding from a layman's point of view to say, what is the problem? Because it doesn't necessarily make sense, and I'll tell you why. The parking area, the parking lot of that monument, it's the same floor for the state theater and the monument. And obviously, logically, it falls on the same earth and the same plan. Now, why is it that on the other part of the requirements you need new regulations, but on the other part, they are allowed to function on old regulations? I'm just going to leave it at that. Secondly, at what point do you collaborate with the department in making sure that the project moves? Because it's like somebody's sitting on one end and the other, and you are just passing papers to say, I need this, I need that, I require this, I require that. Whereas in the same report, we are told you are meeting regularly. Now, the question of logic is, when you meet regularly, monthly, quarterly, what are you discussing if you are not solving these issues? Maybe that goes both to the municipality and the department to clarify us. And I know that MEC, you are also listening, so that your intervention can come handy there to say, let's put all these teams in one room and resolve this thing once and for all, because it becomes an issue of maybe we are testing each other's authority and power, you know, which is at the detriment of service delivery. And then, Chair, because I've been covered on the number of other areas, I will leave it at that for now. If there is anything missing, I'll come back, Chair, on the second bite.
Thank you very much, Member Mahlabe. Maybe just raise one or two things for responding. We are going to have a second bite, as I said, colleagues, so I knew you had many issues, but it was difficult to raise them. I think the issue of, okay, maybe let me start with the IGR monthly and quarterly meetings that are sitting. They seem not to bear fruits. When you listen to the reports, MEC, there is no cohesion from the municipality and the municipalities and the department. You speak past each other. Some of the projects mentioned by the province are not mentioned by the city. Some are mentioned, by the local municipalities. Some are mentioned by the municipalities and not by the department. So you need to find each other there. And I want to speak to the issue of timelines. You know, I thought these reports, when they come, and of which it's how we must prepare for the next engagement, because surely we are going to have the next engagement. The reason why we say the department must present first is so that the municipalities can be able to explain better the issues that are presented by the department. When the department says we don't have an occupancy certificate because of fire in a certain school in Ekurhuleni, when Ekurhuleni comes in, they must give us a sense of saying why we haven't given them the certificate of fire, so that we find a solution around the issue. But now we are reporting, and this report seems very general to us, which makes them very difficult to resolve. There may be a project that is 13 years old that cannot find compliance correctly, but there may be a project that is still in the planning phase. So it creates a problem for us to engage. I mean, the report we are getting on the monument is quite disturbing. It's not what we thought, but Member Mahlabi is also correct to raise these issues, that how do you judge the current building, which is in the same earth or in the same building? Others must use new rules, while the old rules are working in the same basement. I mean, we're told that the department must remove a substation from the basement to the top. But it's the same basement that the State Theatre is using with the meter box and underneath there. So it makes it difficult for us to engage. Also, municipalities were not clear. I mean, besides the issue of the monument, where it was put clear that there are 4 documents missing. In the other presentation, we can't find what is the issue there. And then also there was one report where the department is not aware that it has been approved. I think somebody reported, I think it's in relation to the Provincial Command Center, yes, that it has been approved, and the department is not aware. So maybe in the way forward we will then bring measures that we think are very key. But just to speak on a few issues, there is an issue, I think it's Mfuleni, Lestrain Clinic or something, that is to be donated to education. It was a clinic, but you are saying the space is good for education, so you are not donating to the education. But then you speak about subdivision, because there is a library. So the area ought to be subdivided. And I just want to get a sense, is the library provincial library or a municipal library? The reason is simply this. If it's a provincial library, who are you donating the land to? That would be question number 1, because our understanding of donating land, you do not donate to a specific department, but you donate to Gauteng provincial government. And then the Gauteng provincial government under the Department of Infrastructure Development then does the rest. So I just want to understand the issue of the subdivision, whether is it related, is it because the municipality owns the library, or what is the reason there? If we can get a sense there. And also I'm interested to understand further the issue of the clinic in Maibuye, where the department, the Maibuye clinic in Mirafong, where the Department of Health has instructed that you must stop everything and hand over a close-up report. What does that mean? If we can get a clarity there. If I need to come back, I'll come back in the next phase. Let me give Member Mahlabe and then we'll give over to you to respond. The department will start first responding and then we'll take the views from the municipalities after. Thank you. Member Mahlabe.
Yeah, Chair, just to add on quickly before I forget, is that I've also noted, HOD, that all the presentations, they speak about council resolution. And it's clear that the issue of council resolution it's a common sort of problem to delay some of the processes. What can be done to ensure that that process is expedited? And there is also a clarity with regards to where a municipality holds a different view, because I've heard in one of the presentations that they hold a different view to say the one that is in place is sufficient. Maybe to ventilate that, to understand it to mean that we're all on the same page, because insofar as you are concerned, you might think that you need additional aspects to be covered in the council resolution, whereas the municipality themselves, they think that it does cover all the areas. I know that it can be legally technical if maybe it's taken on a high level, but maybe to clear that issue. And I was, Chair, I was thinking that maybe it's one of the things that they could have also ventilated during their meetings to make sure that it doesn't hold the process any further. Thank you.
Thank you. Just before you come in, maybe these two, I think they are very key. One is for Mirafong, where they are saying about 4 or 5 schools are closed because of these sinkholes. Can we get a clarity if those schools, there is a makeshift somewhere? When we are saying schools are closed, what do you mean? Is there no longer a school, or it has been put somewhere and it's existing somewhere, or what is the issue? That's number one in Mirafong. And in Rand West, there is a school that owes the municipality about 5 million. And there is a process of donating the school, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And there is a debt of 5 million there. If we can get a clarity as to what will happen to the debt, that's number one. And how long will that process take place? I think it's a donation, it's a private donation from what we are told, but there is a debt of about 5 million. If we can get a clarity, are they donating also the debt to the government, or they are going to pay their debt first and then donate the facility? Member Raslingwan.
Thanks, Chair, and also thanks to Member Mahlabe that obviously gave us an opportunity to come back. I think the one issue that I wanted to highlight was regarding Simunye Secondary High School. I think there was a municipality that gave a presentation to say, this school is not even discussed in your IGR or bilateral meetings that takes place, yet we have been given presentations of how this school will be completed very soon. So if we can just get clarity regarding that. But I think the one thing that I also wanted to highlight, MEC, is the lack of consequences management in this issue, particularly that has to do with project delays. We're not hearing any blacklisting of companies that fail. We're not hearing of any officials that have been held accountable. So can we try to zoom a little bit at that, so that at least when there's consequences management, then people can start doing what they've been hired to do, or the companies that get projects have been appointed to do. But oftentimes you find that a project or a company got this project, and once they fail at Rustenval, they will be taken to Maibuye. When they fail at Maibuye, they will be taken to another contract. So really, I would have wished to see a little bit of consequences management in terms of who has been held accountable, who is paying back the government in terms of the monies that have been used. So maybe if we can just get clarity if there is any, interest or appetite to hold people accountable. Thanks.
Thank you, members. We're going to take the responses. I'll give over to the department and then followed by the municipalities. So the municipalities, they will come the way they presented the first presenter, the second presenter, the third presenter, and the last presenter. So you will respond in that fashion. Thank you very much. Over to you, MEC.
Yeah, no, Chair, thanks, and honorable members. I think, Chair, let's acknowledge the points you have made, and of course, we'll continue to engage on these matters. My understanding is that we had said to the committee on several occasions, there are deep problems in the delivery process. I think we're being on record saying that, and we have said to you, this is how we want to deal with these issues. And I think we clearly emphasize that some of the outcomes that we're looking for requires that we work on them. And I think if these issues were not complex, I'm sure we could have resolved them. And I think we're on record having said these matters are deeper, complex, and that's why we have put various measures to resolve them. And I think one of the issues could be, so will these measures help or not? And I think I've said in the House, maybe that's the discussion we should have. Because I get a sense that we could still be at the same point. Let me give you an example. You know, in some of the projects you have mentioned, there have been timelines that were given before. And I think the department would have given you various timelines that have passed, many, you know, I'm quite sure a lot of them. Let's take Duplessis, I visited recently. As an example, I visited Rasteval and Maibwe. Living Women's Monument, I've been there many times. We have said to you, one of the measures we have put in place to resolve these issues is the infrastructure A team in the ecosystem that we spoke about. And it has proven to us that the deadlines that were set were incorrect. And it also said to us, this is the outstanding scope that need to be resolved. And then we have also mentioned that in addition to issues that the A team will discover, we have created a governance lab. We said the purpose of this governance lab is consequence management, blacklisting of companies, terminations that will not put us in trouble with the companies taking us to courts. DID has got a huge number of court cases and high legal costs that are almost, could potentially affect the financial viability of the department. So when you rush to cancel and you have not done proper process, you're opening up the department. So we said, let's get a governance lab to look at these issues. The reason why we needed the governance lab is because we accepted ourselves that consequence management, enforcement of contracts, contractors taking the department serious, complying with contracts, and including the officials. Proper evidence when you terminate, proper evidence when you take action against anyone. We have said we needed to sort out that part. Has it worked? Has it given us good results? This is a new initiative. It's hardly, we've talked about this process. It's hardly a month, I think, having started. So, Chair, the issues you are raising are the essential content of the turnaround plan we have put in place. We launched this turnaround when the HOD came. When was it? In 1st of August. We launched it not far from here. I think one of the places close by here. That's where we launched it. So our turnaround being launched publicly, it's a month old. One of the DDGs here spoke about the project readiness metrics, that we have now realized that actually we need to comply with this. And the governance lab is there to enforce precisely compliance. All these issues you are raising, I can bet you, all of them originate from poor planning years back, and they are catching up with us now. And the reason why we had to enforce the project readiness metrics, automate it, even put the governance lab to enforce it, it is so that we don't have planning issues coming to haunt us in construction. So that's why we spoke about the project readiness metrics being mainstreamed. So, Chair, the point I'm trying to make, just to wrap up, is, and I don't want to be long, is that you are right to agree with you with the issues you are raising. I would encourage the department to set up timelines which are unrealistic and we can't enforce. My boya could have been completed, I was told initially last year, October, September. Today we are digging trenches to sort out underground pipes that have blocked, because the A-team went there and discovered these issues. One of our project managers told us duplexes will be opened by end of August. The A-team said, no, that can't happen. I visited the site. They showed the issues. We gave the contractor end of November as the last time, because the project is almost on the, it's on the edge of being completed. And we have said to them, this is the last time. I think we have terminated thus far, this month alone. I'm not sure how many, but the HOD can tell you we have terminated some, and some are on the process of being terminated. I think quite a lot of them, just in this month, we have put them on terms for termination to follow the due process of termination, to follow the contracts that we have signed. So our environment here is, yes, there are difficulties, but we have found the solutions and we are working on them. The Living Women's Monument, it is true that the A-team, when they discovered that there is a transformer in the basement of the State Theatre, and those documents that they say we have not submitted anything, they relate to that issue. Because we are still working on it, we will submit those documents when we have made a bit of progress on those matters. This was raised by our A-team. So that when Tswane come and do the inspections to issue out the certificate, we have complied with that fire requirement, because there can't be a temporary certificate or permanent if the fire safety issues are not sorted. So the point I'm just making, Chair, is on all the issues you have raised, whether it's timelines, whether it's consequence management, officials, companies, poor planning. We just told you we had a workshop with the municipalities on town planning and approvals. Why did we do that? It's because we can see we are not working together. That is why, and this was 2 weeks back, because we are not at the same level. We are not talking the same way. We are not coordinated. So the point I'm trying to make is we can't differ with what you say, we can't deny what you say, but we don't want to mislead you as well. If a project manager say we're going to complete a project end of August, which has passed, and we have discovered that this thing will only be completed perhaps end of November, you can imagine if we give you many more other timelines that we're not sure about. So, Chair, I think, let me conclude. I think the officials will answer the specific details. But these issues, we are not in denial about them. We have not denied them. We have just not yet resolved them. We have not resolved them, Chair. We will come back to you on these issues when we are clearer, much more better. I don't want the HOD to give you new timelines of things that we have not tested properly. We will be repeating the same cycle of deadlines we're not sure of and we can't enforce. Part of what the lab must do is when a contractor agrees to a new date, we must tie them to that, and that's the discipline we want to introduce. So it doesn't mean we're going to have open-ended things with contractors, but we need to be sure. If a contractor says this thing is going to be ended in December, all of us are sure there's nothing outstanding except the performance of the contractor. So unfortunately, we're dealing with a legacy of poor planning of the previous years, and it's catching up with us now, and we can't jump these steps. Cutting corners is extremely dangerous. Buildings are highly regulated. If we rush and cut corners, the building ban collapses and so on and so on. So I'm just saying to you, Chair, we don't deny. We are hard at work to resolve these issues. We have already long accepted these challenges. We are coordinating with municipalities. We are troubleshooting. We're hard at work. We'll find each other. We are very positive, by the way, that we are making good progress. But it doesn't mean we have resolved the issues. And I'll caution HOD that in whatever we're going to do, giving timelines that have not been properly tested is dangerous. Otherwise, the committee will come and say, you set this date. So we are reviewing some of the deadlines, and we want to be very sure that we even if it means entering into new contracts to insert new completion dates, we know that there's no runaround. One of the issues that I almost forgot to mention, why did we go on procurement to get companies that have got solid 100 million credit facility confirmed by the bank? The reason why we went on that supply chain is because we have got contractors that can complete. They don't have money. They don't pay service providers. They don't pay workers. They are stuck. They don't have liquidity. Their cash to cost, it's poor. We went on procurement to do that. The team is yet to activate those contractors. There are supply chain processes that need to be followed. So once we get people with capacity to take over these projects, we are sure we will finish. We have not even enlisted one of these 10 key contractors that have capacity because they're still back and forth on supply chain issues. So we are aware of all these issues. That's why we have put in place an ecosystem of different solutions to resolve the issues. So if you say to us, the process is inefficient, we are not delivering schools, and so we have long said that, we have accepted. But we are hard at work sorting out these issues. That's the message, Chair, I wanted. It doesn't mean you should agree with us, but that's where we are, painful truth as it is, but that's the reality of the situation. And I don't want us to be lying, misleading you, giving wrong timelines, wrong commitments. I think that will be wrong. That's exactly what causes tensions. So allow us to work on these issues, and we will come back to you. And of course, we understand the pressures, Chair. Ourselves are under extreme pressure. But yeah, thank you very much. Let me hand over to the HOD. I earlier requested to leave at some point.
I thought you wanted to leave when we eat, because you don't want food.
Yeah, I thought you would have gone there by now, but thanks, Chair.
Okay, before HOD, there is an urgent point that Member Mahlabe says, no, if you leave without touching it, we'll have problems. Yeah,
Let me see just a quick one before you leave. On the issue of the technology, what do you call it?
The IDEP.
Yeah, the IDEP. What is the chance that it could be integrated with the municipality, taking into account their own procurement process and all of that, just for the purposes of seamlessness, you know? Because you mentioned earlier to say you have a tracking system that is available to you. However, you don't have control of what happens on the other side, you know. So I'm saying in your engagements with the local municipalities, what is the chance that you can integrate whatever technologies that you have, so that there is that kind of a sense of knowing what happens also on the other side, so that both parties are better equipped to understand the challenges?
In actual fact, you have reminded me of another issue. You know, tomorrow, Saturday, we will be working to clear our data of all these projects. We'll be in the office tomorrow clearing certain things that IDEP is showing us. For example, there are a lot of projects that we are running. Some of them are not properly funded. We are dealing with that tomorrow and clearing our IDEP data. And we will come back to you to say, hey, we have been cleaning for the last 2 months, and this is what we are seeing. To add to the point you are making, we did say, I think the DDG of property showed a process map of how we need to work with municipalities. It shows you end to end, lodging a matter with the municipality. Where is it? Who's handling it? At which stage is it? What we call track and trace. So that track and trace is a module inside IDEP. Exactly the point you are making. It's a module in IDEP so that we can also automate and see where those municipal approvals are, so that we can avoid DID contractor or PSP or project manager says this. The municipalities say a completely different thing. Those things you can resolve them with proper digital platforms and solutions so that there is a single source of the truth, which is now what we have resolved with IDEP. We no longer have 10 answers on one issue. So we are going to do exactly that. Actually, the HOD was saying to me, today there's a supply chain process to resolve that additional module so that we can see what municipalities are saying. We can see where the application is. We all know the truth. And by the way we want to automate this is that that information from municipalities will be given by municipalities so that we don't argue with them. If a municipality say we have returned an application for water use license because of the following factors, is the only truth and is automated and we can see it. Yeah. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, no. Now, Member More.
No, just on a positive
if you have,
light.
Before, if you have your parting shots, I'm going to give you now. Because it means you are no longer coming. There's no longer a second bite.
Yeah, but also just to come in a positive light, we know we stress the MEC quite a lot with the many issues, which obviously he indicates that some back, come from way back. I just want to appreciate MEC. I brought an issue of Tembisa Tswelopele Bridge, and we spoke about it, I think, last week. I can confirm, MEC, just in this public platform that they have started working. So I really just want to appreciate you sending the A team as well as intervening. At least with the rainy season, the children in Tembisa will be able to utilize that bridge. So we really just want to appreciate. As much as we do criticize, I think it's important that we do, appreciate your, intervention. Thanks.
That was indeed positive. Eh?
Yeah, no, Chair. Can we also just agree on one issue? Can we give your team access to IDEP? Can we ask your researchers or your team that support you to get full access so that we can, without these meetings, you can also see where, because we don't have to have these meetings for you to know where things are. We have got data, we have got information about where these things are. And I think the sooner we give you access to our platform, so that you can also see, some of these things where we are. Yeah. So I think we should give the committee access, so that you can see where we are. Because currently it's like we're not sharing information properly. Yeah.
And Tabiseng is ready there. She has been for a while to be taken through. Let me give Member More so that the members don't come back.
Yeah, we are done.
Yes. Member More.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you very much, MEC. Actually, when the Chairperson gave us an opportunity to ask questions, I wanted to say we've been through this path before, I think twice, where we spoke about same issues over and over again, but unfortunately we have to talk about them, especially if not things are not rectified. MEC, I'm sorry, I know that there's been issues between DID and health. I really need to understand the working relationship there. And the reason I'm asking, the Gauteng Clinic, if you check the comments as presented there, the department is talking about having written a letter on the 29th of July. It's been almost a month and it looks like you guys haven't received any decision or response. So I'm worried about the working relationship of DID and Department of Health. We can sit here, come here and talk about working together, province, municipality, blah, blah, blah. But if the departments themselves at Gauteng level are not really working together well, according to my observation, then it basically does not assist a lot. And then the other questions are basically to the municipalities. The 4 schools that have sinkholes, I'm worried about them. The chairperson has asked, but you will come and tell us if they've been moved, because we don't have to wait for things to be very messy before we actually rectify them. To Mfuleni, you talk about limited human resource. I know that there was a moratorium in place and it has been lifted. What have you done to ensure that you get additional capacity so that projects can move? Because we cannot only bring issues and not have possible solutions or resolutions. Then there's this other one that talks about, I think it's Rand West, where they say there's no clear ownership of asset register. Colleagues, without asset register management systems, all these projects that we're doing nothing. Because if you cannot have it, document it, own it, maintain it, you know, all those things, then it's a vicious cycle. So yeah, I just want to maybe understand that phrase, no clear ownership of asset register. And this is Rand West talking about the department, DID. Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
The HOD will, and the team are still here and the municipalities will answer, but be rest assured, Chair, the workshop we had with the municipalities has started a very important conversation, and the weekly meetings we are having are resolving these issues. We needed to understand each other, to coordinate, to talk one point, not multiple sets of truth, which will mean one is not. So I just wanted to assure you, really, consequence management should be based on facts. Otherwise, you charge people and it's like you just have personal issues with them. Your information is not credible. You know, people challenge you, they walk away. Because you rush to hold people when your systems don't have integrity and credibility. So I'm just saying, allow us to sort out some of the issues. But I think HOD can share with you some of the timelines that have been set, which I've said to him, let's be flexible, not to really create wrong impressions again, because that's what causes pain. But apologies about the fact that I need to leave. But this is not the last engagement. We'll continue to update you on where we are. Thank you.
Thank you, MEC. You can be released. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MEC. Thanks very much, and Honorable Chair and members. I thought when the MEC leaves, all the questions will be suspended. but there are certain questions which are below MEC's pay grade, which needs to be handled at our level, and we deal with them accordingly. I want to start with this one of the systems and automation within the department, which is I believe in. You know, I come from education, and we at education they started 10 years ago when I was still part of the team with the admission system at the rudimentary level. And my belief is that when you introduce a system or automation in an organization, you introduce it with its own faults. And over time, it grows, it matures, and it becomes more efficient. Therefore, at the stage where we are with IDEP, indeed it's a good system, it's comprehensive, and we are working collaboratively with eGov. However, over time it's going to grow, and it's going to be one of the dynamic systems which this particular department will be proud of, including the province. And I indeed take the challenge from the MEC about opening up the system to the honorable members of the portfolio committee, indeed we can give you access to view so that you can not change but you can view. When you talk about Simunye, you say, you get to Simunye, you check its target, date of implementation, what are the issues which are holding it back, etc. And then you can just refer to it. Like, as we were talking about Simunye now, I just went to IDEP and I noted that it's above 70%. And I said, what is the delay about Simunye? And I went there and noted that there was a delay with the sales provider or contractor. It had challenges. He was given a warning, and over the last 2 weeks, the performance of that particular conductor has improved, which is a real-time kind of information which our project managers upload on a weekly basis every Friday. I must also indicate, Chairperson, that the questions which you raise are varied, and it also creates an impression. It should not create an impression that we don't have a sense of where we are or where we are going, or when are we going to deliver some of the programs which we are dealing with, especially programs which are in the public eye and which are having impact on education or health, and I will also include women living monument in that particular mix. Like, for instance, if you take Simunye, Chairperson, not Simunye, I spoke about Simunye at 70%, Sempato is 92%, Rasteval is 94%, WKWC, which has been an Achilles heel when I was at education, is at 90%, Mansfield 62%. Bantu Bonke, if you take Bantu Bonke Chairperson, as it has been raised, is over 95%. And there was also a question about pathological lab, JPL. There was a question as to when are we intending to open this particular lab. The target date is the end of October this particular year. But all these days, as the MEC indicates, Honorable Chairperson, are dynamic. I mean, we know that we will be completing end of October on JPL. Municipality may come to say, there's non-compliance here, please deal with it, whatever, and may delay it by a week or two or whatever. Therefore, these dates needs to be understood and be taken as dates which we push towards achieving. However, there may be dynamics which we need to deal with. The second area or category of questions I would like to deal with, Chairperson, is our relationship with Department of Health, DID and health. And I need to say that they say in life that before you start questioning how people view you or treat you, you need to do an introspection. If I walk along a street and everybody's swearing at me or is laughing at me, I should not look at their laughter. I need to look at myself to say, what is wrong with me? Why are they laughing at me or cry at me? The same applies to DID. The behavior of the Department of Health and its letters and actions, I told the team, are based on the challenges which were within DID. If DID, and I come from that particular sector, I'm a month old here in this department, I was in education. Even in education, I was working on a project to withdraw, on a mission to withdraw projects from DID. Education is building 14 schools now as we speak, which we started under my leadership, which I could have given to DID to deliver. I did not. I decided to do it at education because I did not trust DID. Yes, it's a fact. And where does the issue of mistrust emanate from? Delays taking 5 years to build a school. I mean, if you take Maibuye at Midrand, the one we opened in January, it was stagnant for 8 years. Built by DID, we intervened, and within 6 months, collaboration with ID, we finished it off. Therefore, for us to claim our space and to ensure that we get respected by the Department of Health and Education, we need to start delivering. And delivering is not only about strategies. Yes, we've got a turnaround strategy. Yes, we've got processes. Yes, we've got automation like IDEP. Yes, we've got the team. We need to make sure that the word used by Honorable Member Mori, consequence management. And consequence management, one of the things I've discovered in 6 weeks I've been in DID is that most of the problems in DID are not necessarily internal staff members, it's our contractors. And who should control contractors? It's us. hold them accountable to SLA they signed. When it's time to terminate on time, monitor them on time, visit them on time without any favoritism. And once we deal with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, the message will go around to say, DID is serious about delivery and we need to be able to deliver on time. And once they start deliver on time, the name of the DID is going to improve, the image is going to improve, all the departments will come to us. If health continue to deliver projects on its own infrastructure project, they're going to spend more than what DID spends in delivering those projects. Why is that the case? DID has got a group, a team of professionals from all angles of engineering and construction. Health does not have. What does it mean? It means when health implements a particular infrastructure project, they need to start from scratch and buy that skill or that capacity, which already exists in DID, which is a wastage. Therefore, over time, you'll see the expenditure of DID infrastructure implementation shooting up because they left the idle the capacity which is there in DID. And that's the message which I want to engage the HOD of DID on this matter, which particularly this letter they wrote to us on the 5th of September, whether withdrawing or of health. Sorry. Of health, of course. Definitely, of health, yes. And we'll ensure that we meet each other halfway. It's 13 projects, Chairperson, and all of them are almost at initial stage. A total of about 92 million, which is basically clawed back if it's realized from DID retained at health. And I've been having tete verbal discussion with the HOD on this particular matter, and we'll ensure that we have a formal meeting, and he has agreed that he's prepared to retract some of those projects to ensure that DID can deliver, subject to us signing what you call service level agreement, which is not in place as we speak. And talking about service level agreement, Chairperson, there was a question also to say whether we've got service level agreements with municipalities. We've got individual MOUs with municipalities, which as to whether we are aligning or implementing them fully is another matter which I still have to get my head into it. But where we want to go, Chairperson, we would like to have a legally binding, broad MOU with all municipalities so that we can hold each other accountable. I mean, if you look at our reports, we give a report on a particular project and a status, and a municipality gives, without mentioning specific cases, municipality gives a totally different picture. That cannot be being in one government, be it local, provincial, but we are one government. And I think that MOU and working together, including automation of the system which MEC has spoken about, what we are doing now, since we started last month at DID, we are now expanding this IDEP to include those town planning processes. And my intention is to ensure that the municipalities also have access to that particular part of the system. Even IDEP itself, municipality needs to check. Influence needs to go to that IDEP and say, what are the projects in this municipality? And you can even stratify them according to municipality, and they check them, they update them. When we come to this particular portfolio committee in the next 6 months or a year, Chairperson, we need to come with a consolidated report. DID needs to present an overarching report and then hand over to specific municipalities. They present, and the information must be aligned the same, and the challenges need to be acknowledged as being the same. I want to talk, Chairperson, about the municipal debts. Money is important for municipalities, and we definitely are committed in making sure that we pay them. But we can only pay them within the envelope which has been provided to us by Treasury. If you look at the amount which we paid already in the first quarter of the year, Chairperson, already is depleting the allocation which we got from Treasury. And that particular expenditure, Chairperson, also ballooned our expenditure in the first quarter of the year, making us one of the highest departments who spend money during the first quarter, which is out of trend. And one of those things is rates and taxes, which we paid during that particular quarter. But indeed, we need about 972, almost $1 billion, for us to settle and be on zero level with all municipalities. And as indicated in the presentation, we have developed a business case. We are going to take it to Treasury, and it will be part and parcel of the midterm review. And we hope that PBC, come the end of the discussions, they'll be able to allocate us these monies. I know municipalities, what they do, Chairperson, especially during the first quarter of the year, like they did, Ekurhuleni did during the first quarter. DID was owing rates and taxes, including schools. They went to our schools and switched off. And when we checked, we found that we were paying services, but the rates and taxes were not paid. Fortunately, DID within a week, they managed to pay, and municipality could switch on the lights in all those schools. But indeed, it's all about pressure, and we want to pay and ensure that we are compliant. Lastly, Chairperson, on an overall issue, is the sinkholes. The 4 sinkhole schools which have been raised as part of the municipal presentations, but also as a question from the portfolio committee. Yeah, sinkholes are a problem. Let me take in particular Relebohile, because I've been involved in Relebohile. I went there several times, and this particular school is even more critical given the fact that it has been evacuated. The learners are learning in mobiles, the school performance is going down, and it's a bigger problem in Relebohile. We approached Treasury jointly, DID and Education, to seek money because it's unbudgeted, unforeseeable kind of situation which you need to deal with. Treasury approved a budget for this particular school to deal with, and if I remember well, I think in other schools. But there was a condition, and it's so frustrating. Treasury gave us approval to say, yes, please go ahead to do this, but ensure that you accommodate this cost within your ECE. Which basically means that take from Peter to pay Paul. And as Education and DID is a priority project, we want to complete it, and we'll ensure that we deal with it accordingly, because the school is dilapidating and affecting teaching and learning. But we are committed, Chairperson, and we can maybe in the next iteration give reports on this one. But the colleagues can also add in terms of how the progress is on this issues. Lastly, Chairperson, before, if you allow me, maybe some of the colleagues who are with me, they want to add. I want to indicate that we have noted that most of the problems of incomplete infrastructure, which is led by DID, and I think MEC might have mentioned this, emanates from the planning phases and planning processes. And the A team, which we are now deploying to various areas to unblock and to ensure that they fast track our work, is also have been mandated to look at this particular area of concern, which is planning. And over the last weeks, I've established what we call PRM team, Project Readiness Metrics team, which comprise the 8 team members who are professionals in various spaces of construction and engineering, who are serving as advisory to me. Any project which is supposed to be implemented or which is stuck, I'm subjecting it to this particular professional team so that they can advise me as to how we need to deal with it, and what are the processes, and what are the realistic timelines for us to complete that particular project. There's no, we need to get rid of thumbsuck timelines or timelines which are determined by contractors. Contractors need to also be aware that they are being managed, monitored, and given oversight by our professional team, which has proven itself to be worth its salt over the last 6 weeks, which I've joined the team. I want to pause here, Chairperson, maybe just to give over to the team so that I don't behave as if I'm working alone. Here, all these things I'm saying have been briefed by my team, and they are hard at work. We've got our back against the wall, but we believe that we will rise and achieve and bring this department to where it belongs. Thank you very much. I would like maybe to start with DDG Neo, if you want to add, and then start with DDG Malope, if you want to add, and start go to Director Refilwe. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, honorable members, and thanks, HOD. I just wanted to address the issue of the asset register, because when we send, every year when we ask municipalities to submit their claims, we attach the asset register. Because part of the process that we do, we verify that what we are paying for is actually what belongs to the province. So I just wanted to correct that. That's the only comment that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, HOD, for the opportunity. Just maybe from my side, I'm covered by the comments that MEC as well as the HOD made as far as health is concerned. I think the one item that I just need to reiterate, on the projects that we still have a mandate from health, we are working closely with them. We are having weekly meetings just to make sure that we streamline on those projects, but particularly the ones that are sitting at planning stages, they have indicated that they are withdrawing them because they don't have enough finances, as well as that they are going to implement them internal to GDOH. And as such, then we need to wrap up with the service providers that we had appointed doing these projects that are sitting at planning. Thank you, Chair. I'll end it here.
Thank you, Chair and HOD. On the education projects, I'll just respond on the sinkholes. Re lebogile Hlangabeza, Tsitsibuga, and Pororong. As HOD indicated, there was a process between Treasury, and unfortunately with that process, we did not get through in terms of allocation of budget. So with Tsitsibuga and Pororong, there is no budget allocation for this financial year. We did do the conditional assessment. I think there are over 13 schools that we did in the area that are impacted by the sinkholes, and they're not allocated budget. So we cannot proceed up until the client departments allocates budget. However, with Relebogile and Hlangabeza, we just received a confirmation that we can proceed in July from GDE. So those projects are at initiation stage. The reports are sitting with GDE. As soon as they approve, then we will continue with our processes as DID so that we can bring back those schools to life. And then with the comment on WK du Plessis, the issue of the sewer line, I just want to indicate that we do investigations when we start with projects. We get servitudes from municipality, and in most cases, the municipality, before approving our drawings, they will indicate services that we need to upgrade. But in this case, the sewer line is adjacent, it's not in the school, and we don't even have the budget to upgrade it. So that's why we are saying we are requesting municipality to ensure that it gets upgraded, there's no blockages, so that it doesn't overflow into the school and we end up with a situation that we had at Maibuye. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Chair. That's the response from our side. But some of the inputs, we are taking them for noting and for just to do introspection, to learn and improve. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the department. Tshwane. After Tshwane, it will be Rand West. After Rand West, it will be Mirafong. After Mirafong, it will be Mfuleni. I know that the HOD and MEC might have covered part of the things that you want to raise. You can still make a comment I'm formulating a way forward, so it's very important to hear what you are saying. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chair and honorable members. I think based on what the MEC and HOD indicated, I think from our side, we are really covered in terms of the process, because we have been saying that there's a compliance and we all have to comply. And then I'm happy because there's a process from the department side to ensure that at least we really comply. But there was just one question in terms of the monument, in terms of whether you have, if you have a structure, existing structure, then you have a new structure on one property. The regulation is quite very clear. You have an occupation certificate from the previous property, but once you build another property, on that particular earth, you need to comply in terms of whether it's a new legislation or old legislation, because it's a new property. It is regulated in terms of the current or the existing legislation. So that's why in this case, the fire plan is not about the state theater. The fire plan is about the new structure as part of the process. So, but based on what the MEC said to say, they are busy from their side working on those certificates. So we'll rely on that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Rand
Chair.
West, thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Based on the presentation and the comments, you'll see that there are no major issues with Rand West, but the few issues that have been raised. The first one is about the 5 million that is owed by the school, and unfortunately, the transfer is between the mine and the department. We are not privy to the contract in terms of who's responsible for covering the conveyancing fees and all those things of transfer. But definitely, we as the MMC just whispered in my ear, we definitely need that 5 million. On the issue of Simunye, secondary, the HOD, I think, was on spot, that currently there are no issues, the project is progressing well and is around 70%, but maybe that is the reason it's not being touched during bilateral, because between us and the department, there are no issues regarding that thing. But why I raised it is because in all the public meetings, the IDP meetings, the community keep on raising the school, that when it's going to be completed. And another issue is the delay in the transfer of properties that are owned that we are donating to the province. As we have seen during my presentation, the council initially took a resolution to transfer those properties to the line function department, like social development and education. In 2023, we received a letter from the province that no, it must be transferred to DIT, of which we took another resolution. This year, July, we got another letter to say, no, transfer them to GPG. It was in July, towards the end of July. By end of August, we've already secured the council resolution, and we are just waiting for legal to finalize those issues. But I'll say maybe the bilaterals between ourselves and the departments have assisted to work on those backlogs, because before we started those bilaterals, there were a lot of issues in terms of transfer. But also if maybe from the department, for example, the first resolution was in 2023. We only received a letter in August 2025. So maybe if they can also fast track in terms of responding to that, so that we can be able to get decisions made in time. I think those were the issues maybe from our side. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Rand West. Mirafo.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. At Mirafong, I think I would say we were partially covered by the HOD. However, I think we are getting comfort when we hear about the progress that has already been made by the department, taking into consideration that the school that was already reallocated to the temporary classes was the one that they are prioritizing as well. Then the other three schools, even though they are still within the same premises, but we cannot ignore the fact that there is a danger of sinkholes in those areas, and then we don't know the extent of the sinkhole. But I think we are getting comfort that there is improvement that has already been done. I think I will say we were covered by the answers from the HOD and the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Merafong. Lastly is Mfuleni.
No, thank you, Chair. I will start with the comment from Honorable Mure. With regards to DID prioritizing small municipalities when it comes to payments of rates. I was just having a chat with the CFO. I was asking him, is it really true that DID doesn't owe us? So that information is not correct. I can confirm that the department 262 million, of which 180 is from Department of Health. I know it's been back and forth with the Department of Health. I know it's something that MMC of Finance is always mentioning in MACO, that there's that debt from the Department of Health. So the department does owe us, and would appreciate it if they can pay what's due to Mfuleni. Maybe I must also touch on your second question, Honorable Mure. With the limited human resources, I also did indicate that we are in a process of appointing. We have interviewed for senior admin officer and 2 admin officers in property department, and currently there are 2 officials in acting capacity to just plug in that gap. To Honorable Rasilingwane, on the issue of Rasteval, the department is of the view that the council resolution that we have did not capture fully what needed to be done, but we're just happy from our side that council did resolve that we should donate that property. It's just that the council resolution didn't include the fact that we must close that park, and we must also subdivide and consolidate it with the existing property where the school is. We don't see it as an issue. There won't be any prejudice that council will suffer because they had resolved that we should donate that public place to DID. So we are of the view that we should continue with the donation, but obviously after having completed the town planning processes. And then Honorable Chair Ndlovu, yes, what I was saying is the DID requested for the site that is vacant, and then the size of that property fits in education uses, either primary or secondary. I just can't remember, but Department of Education did indicate that that site, they've been earmarking it for Department of Education. We don't have a problem donating it to DID, but when we donate it, our council resolution will say it must be used for education purposes, and then we can always find an alternative for a clinic, probably look for a smaller site, but we need DID to then write back to us to say they are happy with us looking for alternative, because we have returned to them saying that we won't donate that property for the purposes of a clinic. As for the library and the clinic, it's Malenstein Clinic. The property where it's located, we also have a library, and library is a municipal competency, and then clinic is a provincial competency. So we wanted to subdivide it so that we keep the library, and then we donate the clinic to DID. I hope I have covered all the issues that were asked. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much for those responses and comments, colleagues. It's 2 o'clock, as I said, that we are planning to conclude exactly at 2. So colleagues, I want you to listen attentively. on the way forward, because in a month's time, we'll be calling the department and wanting your responses, and you would have not heard us. Firstly, we appreciate the municipalities that made it. It's very important. And through our other channels, we must deal with other municipalities that did not come. Especially Joburg, because Johannesburg, the MMC sent an apology, so the officials were supposed to come. So that is where we'll start. And having said that, we are going to write to you. I think when we wrote a letter inviting you, maybe we were not as explicit enough, but we are going to write again to you, especially HOD, on projects that, as the committee, we believe they must find conclusion. So we are going to write to the municipalities separately to request specific responses on specific projects, especially those that are more older. So we are going to be writing to the municipalities to say, municipality on this school in Simunye in Midrand, students have been there, they were just removing a pipe as per the public protector's recommendation. How far is the process? And then the municipality is going to respond to us. We have not given them a certificate because they have not removed the pipe. So that when we do oversight over DID, we are able to say there is a need for a pipe there. Can the pipe be installed so that we get that? We want to be solution driven. The MEC and the HOD are correct. Most of these problems are old, and I always say they come from failed planning or planning that is not correct. Once you fail in the planning, you are bound to have the comebacks later. And it's where they must find it correct for moving forward, so that things can be able to move. So that is what is going to happen, colleagues. We are going to write that those specific questions and request specific responses. But of importance is that your monthly engagements and quarterly engagements, especially the quarterly one, we are going to request reports on those quarterly engagements. I mean, if you meet 3 times, then you must be able to say in these past 3 months, we have met and discussed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have managed at least to do 1, or we have not managed to do anything, so that at least we have a sense of what is it exactly that is happening. Because our masses do not separate us. They don't say it's the municipality, it's the province, it's national. When they see anyone, they just think it's government. Even when they see us, now we are not implementing anything. We are doing oversight. But when they see us, they will say, no, you are wasting our time. And it's not even us that are building schools. We come to check if government is at the level of the executive, if they are implementing programs. But we are clubbed to one. We are all government. So we ought to deliver to our people. So that is the way forward. And we may call you again, because we believe that we must work closely. We must work very closely. Once we leave each other to operate there and operate there, then we find out that we have these problems of having 100 or more projects that are having problems either with the municipality or with the province. And yet we are one government. We just have to engage and find a solution to those problems. So that is our way forward. Those 2 statements. The first one is that we are going to write to you. The second one is that your engagement for the next quarter, we are going to request a report on your engagements. Because what we are going to be doing, we are going to put these things in the point form. And now and then, as we engage with the department or neither with yourselves, we are going to be referring to those responses that when we met in September the 10th or the 11th, You said it was at 3%. We are coming again, it's 6 months later, it is still at 3%. What is it that may be the problem? And then we engage on those issues and find solutions. It can't be that another, it's not an arm of department, what do they call it? Yes, another arm of the state or another arm of the government is delaying another arm to deliver to the same people. And by the way, this delivery goes to the wards, so which means it's delivery for the municipalities more than it is for anyone else. So that will be our way forward, colleagues, and we are going to communicate with you. And with that said, this brings us to the conclusion of our program for today. Okay, again, Akil.
We're gonna send it back to the person people that were invited, or we're gonna send to us as an MNCs and I mean everyone that is here.
Thank you. We are going to use the same process. Remember, we have a system that we use, but there is no train smash because people who are here, they've registered. So, which then means if we are writing to Rand West, if we wrote to Mayor Macheke, we'll still write to Mayor Macheke, but we'll see people who are here because it's them who must still update us and make follow-ups on the issues that we're discussing. I mean, even if the letter can go to Mayor Macheke, he will still call the people who were here to find out what happened and what are the engagements and the way forward thereof. So whatever communique that we are going to issue in relation to today's issues, we are also going to get it. I'm sure you have left your details in the register. But the system says if we're inviting a municipality, we must invite either the speaker or the mayor. We are still going to do that, following the official routine of doing things. But we'll still write to you, those who participated in the process, so that you are able to guide the process at that level. So that is what is going to happen. And thank you very much for that. And colleagues, as I was saying, we have come to our closure. I'm told that the lunch is going to be served at conservatory restaurant. And those of you who are driving, where's Kaya? Okay, Kaya will be outside. I'm sure you saw him in the morning, so that you can give him your tickets and he gives you the ones for going out. Otherwise, we are going to have problems paying from the morning until now. So, siyabonga kakhulu, sizawuphinde sihlangane futhi. Thank you.